Welcome and good evening to all of you to this, the WPT 500 final table right here on Party Poker. And this evening, joining me, my co-com, a man from last week, Patrick Leonard. You're back. How are we doing, Pads?
It's good to be back. I'm not sure what happened. My camera looks like I'm in the Matrix or something. It's gone green. I'm not sure what's going on there. But yeah, it's good to be. It's good to be back.
You've got a bit of mood lighting on you.
I know.
This is it.
It's interesting. I've got a few tables up this week, so I've loaded up the WPT side event, the 500 knockout, which is the same tournament we're watching today, but it's the knockout version, same 1 million guarantee. So if people are railing, maybe they want to jump in that as well. It's a very, very good tournament, so I'd recommend it.
Yeah, fantastic. Just a carbon copy of this, as Pad says. Obviously, we'll be covering that final table next week, but of course, the final table of this evening is the thing we're going to focus on. And so, let's just take a look at some of that tournament information, because, Pads, it was another one that they hit the guarantee. And these party events, they're getting smashed.
Yeah, did well. I think it hit the guarantee well in advance as well. I think I hit it one day early, which was a nice surprise for everybody.
Yeah, you see that Andre Novak coming in with the chip lead, 1.211 million in the prize pool. Means first prize is 181,500. So just the casual 181,000 profit for the barn in this one. Obviously, they played down to the final table last night, Patrick. I was watching for a bit. It took them a long time. There was a lot going on. Obviously, with this kind of money on the line for smaller buy-ins, not surprising. You see the payout now, obviously 13.8. But interestingly, Patrick, not inexperienced final table. There's some players in the mix here. I don't know if you've had a chance to have a look yet, but.
So I was watching. I was watching yesterday. Let's see now. Yeah. Brandon Adams, is that the Brandon Adams?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, it is. Yeah, it looks like it is. Rolling back the years, jumping back in the mix. Someone who used to play the super high stakes cash games, high stakes poker, that kind of thing. Right here in the mix. Yeah. Aaron Bean, someone who's got a lot of cashes in some big buy-in events.
He's old school guy. He's an old school guy as well, right? I think he used to play.
That's right. Yeah, and then you've got the likes of Andre Novak, who's got over nearly $3.5 million of online earnings. We got some players in here. We got definitely and Pedro as well. I looked Pedro. He looks very, very handy player. I see obviously cashing in 10Ks, 25Ks. Gives you an idea that not kind of the person, Patrick, you'd necessarily expect to have to clash with in one of these WPT 500s, but there we go.
Yeah, I play a lot against both Pedro and Andre, every day when we both grind. They're both regulars. They play a lot of volume, so it's nice to see them get into this stage. I think Lucas is a regular too, but it looks like a pretty good final table. A lot of mixed characters. It's not like we have Michael Adamo at another final table. It's it just shows that these tournaments are, decent value. Let's say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's always going to be some good players at the final. It's just the way it is. But we have a look, Pads, at how the seats have worked out. It seems like all the chips kind of congregating on the right-hand side of the table and all the short stacks on the left.
Yeah, interesting.
As we join this one, Novak and Dylan.
Not familiar with Dylan. We've not seen him around before.
I see. It's
Do you know which country he's from? Do we know? Or is that,
New Zealand. Yeah, he's in New Zealand. Okay. Minimal live earnings, but some reasonable online earnings. But certainly is chasing down his biggest ever score today with the 180k up top. As far as we're aware, of course, you never quite know.
Yeah.
But I do want to give one shout out, Patrick, because obviously everyone watching, welcome. First of all, good evening. Thanks for joining us. You'll be noticing we are down a man. Now, Henry, unfortunately, had a conflict. I think he couldn't possibly do tonight, but he did want me to say one thing, and that is that he was gutted specifically because Stoyan, you see in the bottom right there, Stoyan Katanov, is Henry's best friend from when they were about 13 years old. He's the guy who got Henry into the game, and he is gutted to miss out on the one time Stoyan's made it to one of our final tables and Henry's not here. So you Henry got fans out there missing your man tonight. Well, cheer on Stoyan for him, because he's certainly going to be tuning in, I imagine, and cheering on Stoyan with you.
He's from England. Sorry,
Bulgarian.
I didn't know Henry grew up in Bulgaria.
Yeah, I think Henry's a real globetrotter. He gets around that kid.
Apparently so.
But yeah, Stoyan.
Quite an interesting spot straight away here. If Pedro, if he'll defend or not. Yeah, pretty tight fold. That may seem surprising for a lot of people folding, 10-8 to a min raise in the big blind. But he just doesn't really want to get into a situation where he loses, 25 million post flop and then he starts becoming the short stack. He wants to just maybe preserve his stack right now, see what happens. Do we have the payout? So next payout is 13,000. Okay.
Yeah, and it's a good point. Obviously, we're joining it. It's 2.5, 5. You see there. So we got the 4 players on the left hand side of the screen. They're all sub 20 bigs. So interesting, like you say, as we see here, this one plays out because. Yeah, the payouts go, 13-8, 17-7, 22, 29.
Well, we may see a shove on the button here from Aaron, and Brandon will probably call with ace-10, I think, in this spot. He's just going to be dominating enough hands, like if you shove in king-10, he's going to shove like ace-deuce. You dominate king-10, queen-10, jack-10, 9-10, ace-2, 3-4, 5-6, 7-8, 9, so... a lot of combos you do really well against. He's probably inducing if he has ace king, ace queen. If he has jacks, queens, kings, or aces. So ace 10, you might beat like every hand in his range kind of thing. So you're gonna have to gamble here. And Aaron, unfortunately, not to laugh at his demise, but he's left with 2 chips. It seems like. Okay. He left 2 chips behind. Okay, that always gives me like a light heart when people leave 2 chips because with internet and all sorts of stuff. So,
I'm with you.
I think it's dangerous.
Pat, you've been playing online long enough. Obviously, I've been playing online a little bit longer than you, but I still have that fear. These youngins these days, they never seem to have their internet drop. They're just not used to it. That was a great fear of mine. Like back in the day. Yeah, I see some 100%. Of you guys in the chat asking about free rolls giveaways. There's all sorts to come this evening. We'll give you a little shout about that free roll though, because hey, that's the main thing. The WPT500 free roll is paying a WPT500 online seat and $500 in cash, I believe. And then I might be wrong on that. It reads a little funny. There's lots of money to be given away in this free roll. I'll clear that up in a second. But WPT 500 free roll taking place on Party, of course. And I'll give you guys the password for that in a little bit. You're not getting it just yet. Registration. The tournament starts in an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to wait. I'm registered. You guys wait a minute. I see you beat me in there, Pads. I thought I was going to be first in, but you got me.
First one in the mixer.
Interesting.
Yeah, Lucas folded. I thought Lucas may make like a wide open under the gun, and then it would have been interesting what happens. Oh well. So Dylan goes for the shove, which is just reasonable. I kind of prefer to free bet, I think, rather than to shove, because when you shove, he's never going to fold ace king, so you don't really achieve too much that way. He's probably never going to call ace queen or 10s or 9s. He's going to fold these hands, so you don't really achieve too much by shoving. You only get called by better hands. So I think I would have free bet non-all-in maybe. Tried to induce some action.
Yeah, I'm with you though.
But it's shoving is still good. It's just like could free bet and be better. That's the only question. Like it's not a bad play by any means. He's definitely make money that way.
I see some of you you eagle-eyed people have noticed the passwords at the top of the screen. So there was me going to hold it back, Pads. But I'm going to let you guys in. It is Jay Dempsey. And no, I didn't set the password. Just before anyone starts accusing me of running out of ideas and trying to guess my passwords. They're not that simple. But please do, guys, head on over to Party Poker. Get registered. I see it's already beginning to fill up. Here we go. Everyone's getting in the mix.
Yeah,
the 500. Oh, and of course, I didn't mention it as of yet. Of course, you get money for knocking out Patrick as well. Patrick's first 3 buy-ins are worth a $22 day legend ticket. If you're fortunate enough to get on his table, go after him, guys. You get $22 straight off the bat.
Good luck. I think I got knocked out 4 times last week, so congrats to those guys.
Okay.
Maybe 5.
I cashed last week, Pads, and I cashed the one before that as well. So I'm 100% so far in the stream free rolls. Just throwing it out there. Right.
This is kind of an interesting spot. Usually you see people playing very passive when they're 2 chip leaders or big stacks, blind versus blind. So Interesting to see him raise, and Stoyan will for sure call Queen 10. I would be very surprised to see him fold.
Does indeed call 6, 7, 8, couple of spades, nothing for either, bar the gut shot, of course, for Stoyan.
Yeah, not a bad flop for Stoyan. I think starting to bluff for Stoyan is good. You can make King Queen fold, you can make Ace Queen fold, you can make Queen Jack fold, so you can definitely accomplish a lot by starting to bet. If he has Ace 2, Ace 3, Ace 4, you're going to fold these out as well. Ace Jack, you're going to fold out. Ace King, you're going to fold out, so definitely makes sense to start betting. He goes for a big bet. He goes for a very big bet, but gets it through. Good bluff.
Nice pick up. Yeah, and I think I'm right in saying, Patrick, I think there's 1 point. Yeah, it must be 2. Let me get this right. Hang on. 1.1 billion chips in play. Does that sound right? I'm losing my mind here. Yeah, so you can see those chips on the right-hand side.
Right.
Yeah, there's a lot of chips on that right-hand side.
This should just take it down. Oh, big blind will defend, I guess.
Dylan in the big with that jacket of clubs.
Dominated. Oh, this is a really interesting board. So this is a board where you see some regulars using overbets on. So you may, in ICM it's slightly different, but you see people sometimes betting 1.5 times the pot here, like very large bets on this kind of board where the big blind can't have a straight. He goes for a smaller bet. Thought we could have maybe seen a big pot here.
This also makes sense as well, though, right, Patrick? The small bet on this kind of board, you like?
Yeah, it's fine.
Well? Like,
yeah. Well, you want to use a sizing. The what you're trying to do is make him fold King Jack and Queen Jack and Ace Jack, whatever sizing you think that is, so that when you hit a Jack on the turn, you have the nuts. So if you think it's this sizing, then sure. If you think it's a bigger sizing, then use that sizing. So in chips, like at the start of the tournament, you usually use a really large sizing because no one will fold King Jack versus a small sizing. But in ICM, people will start to fold King Jack already versus a small sizing. So just based on your player, you would choose your sizing based on that. Also for value as well, it all adds up together. But that's kind of the mechanic behind choosing the sizing, I think.
Right, to knock out.
I think he would have.
Yeah, it's a good point to knock out those hands. I mean, that's a good thing to take away if you guys watching, listening. You see that sizing just knocks those hands out. So then what? If you spike that Jack or you spike that 10, it's so much more powerful. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I think the term we use is cleaning our outs. So we make our outs clean on the turn. So like if we fold out the Queen Jack, King Jack, when we hit our out, it's like a clean out rather than a dirty out. Like if you min bet, it's quite a dirty out because he's gonna dominate you a lot. But if you use a bigger size than he folds, then your outs are quote unquote clean. Is kind of how we see it, I think, which is interesting. This should be a shove here on the button from Dylan.
All right, Aaron
Big
with
blind.
5 blinds. Yeah, David with 15. There it is. Rips it in, and yeah, looking around. I mean, Aaron's so much shorter now, isn't he? But
yeah, he has to gamble soon. Again, the pay jump for Aaron, especially like between 9th and 8th, is going to be so small. An established player, the payouts between 9th and 8th are always very small because you've just made the final table. So he can play basically non-ICM like chips. Like I would call Queen 8 suited there.
Yeah, he does have to give that one up.
This is interesting.
Yeah, a couple of ace 10s.
We're going to get a really good eye into how Dylan plays. So when Andrew opens here, if Dylan has a hand which could free bet, but it could also fold, but it could also call. Like different categories of players will do one of the free decisions. So we're going to get a really good understanding of how Dylan is approaching pre-flop here versus what he does versus this open, I think. So this will be very interesting to see. He folds. So that's, which is not bad. It's not all the options are fine. It's not like a powerhouse hand, but some people will always free bet. Some people will always call and some people will always fold. This ace 10 off, king, queen off, king, jack off. They're the kind of hands where you start to understand how people are approaching the final table, if that makes sense. Because if he has pocket eights, everyone calls. If he has pocket aces, everyone free bets typically. But it's these kind of middling hands where we can start getting an understanding of how the different players on the final table are playing, I think.
And David, let's
So,
go
yeah.
the 2 5s as well here, Pads, with Aaron so
Yeah.
short behind, just kind of probably
Yeah.
feels not a lot of value in trying to get one through. It's funny you say that, Patrick, because we've also seen that 3-bet jam from Dylan as well, didn't we? With 27 bigs with the 2 queens rather than 3-betting. So, like you say, it kind of looks from those 2 hands, which obviously we can't be sure on, but very much looks like he's looking to ladder up some spots perhaps before getting involved.
Definitely.
What we know of his poker career, it would make a lot of sense. So
yeah, and it's also the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do anyway. You know, he has a stack size where he's trying. His goal of this tournament typically should be to kind of get to the top 3. This doesn't matter if you're Phil Ivey, if you're a local casino player from Newcastle, whatever it may be. Your goal when you have his stack size is to get into the top 3 places where the big money is, and then try to get to the first place then. Rather than trying to win the tournament now. You can't win the tournament when there's 9 people left,
Right. Entirely. We'll see who he gets on. It is Aaron being the one under the most pressure at the moment.
Yeah.
Davidas in
I think
big
we've seen all in here. Yeah.
Right, yeah. I mean...
I was going to say, the thing is with Queen Jack here is when you open, Aaron's going to fold a lot, but if you fold, Aaron's going to shove here so wide, and the big blind has to call because it's free big blind. So this is the kind of spot where you make very little money by raising, but you make more money by folding because Aaron's going to shove and the big blind's going to call. Like if Aaron has 10-8 suited, he's going to shove. If he has King 5 suited, he's going to shove. If he has Ace Deuce, he's going to shove. So he's going to shove like 35% of the time, and one of the guys behind is going to call, like at least 50% of the time. So David maybe cost himself a pay jump here. Ace 9 would have taken out Ace 2 and he would have had the pay jump. So sometimes it can be tempting to, steal and try to make your first move at the final table, but just being patient and allowing someone else to lose instead of you winning is actually winning in itself,
Yeah, I mean it's a fantastic point, Pads, that you've made before on this very stream. I remember talking about exactly that, folding, letting maybe the small blind jam into the big blind. You've got a chance of them busting. It's just another way that you've got to think about poker, guys, when you're playing these tournaments. And it's just another example of why it's so great to have Pads in here with us as we watch these guys battle out for 6 figures. But in this case, he flops top pair, just c-bet, wins the pot. So it's all good. But like you say, Pads, I mean, he hasn't changed his position that much, and Aaron would probably be out if he'd folded.
I think he hasn't changed. Yeah, he's covered Pedro by a little bit now, but yeah, like you said, even if you win the pot, take it down, your EV or the EV of your stack hasn't really increased that much at all, Yeah. I guess this is interesting. What Pedro does, yeah. I'm guessing he folds, but I think from playing with Brandon a little bit, I feel like he's quite active. I feel like he's the guy who may play the Ace 10. Like he's always been that sticky player. He folds this time, which is interesting. I feel like Brandon is, if it is the same Brandon Adams, I think he is the kind of guy who isn't afraid to mix it up and to be active when he needs to be.
And Andre Peels, the big 8-10, flops a gut shot, but Stoyan with top pair.
Interesting spot here. I think if Andrew had a diamond, he would check raise. This is a nice sizing because this sizing already makes a hand like 10-8 kind of awkward, I think, when there's more gut shots out there. Yeah, so with that bigger sizing, you get a gut shot to fold, which is a pretty big win, not necessarily with your hand, but if you're betting a hand, say like Ace Queen, if you can make 10-8 fold there, that's a pretty big win, So, yeah, very nice bet size from Stoyan. Maybe Henry's been in the lab with him for a bit of preparation before the day started. Running some sims. Queen 10. This is an interesting spot when there's a free big blind stack behind. We may see a limp here. We may see a shove. We may see a raise. Again, this is something which could go any way apart from fold with a free big blind stack behind. Because like you just... Oh, wow, he did fold. He did fold. Okay. Which is interesting. Again, like seeing just what people do in the first 2 orbits, 3 orbits, gives you a very telling look into how they play, because a lot of people go crazy in the first few orbits and just try to get active, but I kind of recommend first 3 or 4 orbits just play tight and see who's going wild, who's going tight, and then kind of then adjust your game plan. Because imagine he opened there and Andrew made like a really aggressive shove in the small blind, but then he watches the stream back in 10 minutes and sees that he folded queen 10 last time on the button. You start to realize that the shove is very bad, you know. So just being patient in these really good structures on Party Poker, WPT, etc., I think is so crucial to then being able to formulate a plan of, okay, how am I going to win this tournament, you know.
And it's funny you said that, Paz, because I was going to say, like, in a tournament like this especially, I guess it makes even more sense to watch the stream if you're on the final table, as opposed to like the high rollers. Everyone knows everyone plays, you don't gain that much, but like you said, you get that insight. But yeah, you even throw on there, you get the insight in everyone else's plays, but he almost, like you say, gets to build a bit of an image right now, because now when he raises in a similar spot later, people are like, well, hang on a second, this guy folded queen 10, so
Exactly.
It was almost like advertising in a new way. You know, people used to advertise by raising and showing junk. Now you fold a good hand, but you know it's on stream and you know everyone's going to see it. It's a different way of advertising it.
Some people actually
ace 10 he just folded here as well. Like
he's definitely playing on the tighter side. And this is going to be telling, especially raising into maybe the Dylan's big blind, who's played like quite tight so far, you know, like maybe it's a good spot to actually steal here in the cutoff with ace 10, because you're raising into his big blind, not like a damo who's going to free bet you with, you know, king deuce off or whatever.
Well, Peels once more, Dylan from the big blind, and once more flops top pair against Andre, 2 for 2. A little different texture this time though. The 8-3-4 rainbow is a little drier than this jack 8-6, couple of hearts.
Yeah, you may see this hand bluff for through streets ace 5 off. It goes for a check, which is kind of surprising. I would have went for a c bet here. You can fold out ace 9, you can fold out ace 10, you can fold out ace 7, you can fold out king queen, king 10. Lots of hands which are going to either be beating you already or maybe bluff you on the turn, you know, like let's say he has a hand like king 10, he's going to bluff now, whereas he would have folded the flop. Your ace is live. You have backdoor straight draw. You connect a little bit with like, you know, 5-6 suited, 5-7 suited, stuff like this. I think Dylan has a value bet now after it's checked 4 times.
And what sort
and
of
he
size
can use
are
a
we
small,
thinking here, Right.
a small size, and like we're value betting as wide as a jack, and also the in position player can also have a 6 potentially and play it this way. You know, check back the flop. It's not like out of the question for him to raise a 6, check back the flop, not one to get check raised on a really wet texture. Last time he c-bet on 8-4-3, Dylan went for a check raise on the flop with jack 8. So maybe Andrew feels like Dylan's a kind of player who check raises a lot for information, or, you know, bluffs a lot versus c-bets or something. So he might be passive with his bottom pair pretty often there, like he was passive with an ace high, which is a similar hand class. This is actually interesting. Yeah, I don't think the big blind can fold for 2.5 big blinds.
7. Yeah.
If it was slightly more, you can make some pretty tight folds here. But yeah, I think he's gonna have to flick this one in, just getting such a good price.
Just flick it inside pads. Makes a lot of sense. Chance to knock someone out.
Yeah, especially because Aaron's going to be big blind next hand. He kind of has to shove here quite wide. Like if he has king 5, he might have to just shove, you know, try to get one through before the big blind eats him up. So David is really tanking it. If Aaron can get this through, that would be huge, but he doesn't. Oh,
he doesn't. He has to fade a lot of outs on the turn, but that's what he does. Aaron Bean with the double back to 33 mil, still by far and away the shortest. But Pads, a little lifeline. He has the tiny amount of fold equity now. It's a start.
100%, yeah. I mean, I feel like Aaron's going to spin it up. That's my read. I'm not sure about yours, but I think Aaron may spin this one up.
And Pads, Pedro under the gun here with 16 blinds. I mean, ace king. Like he's obviously gone for 11. Is there 2 options there? Can you just open rip? I mean, are you open light at all ever here?
I would have no shoves here. I would just have raises, non all in. So it's just a little bit too much for 16 big blinds. I would have some raise folds for sure. You know, king queen offsuit, ace jack offsuit, ace 10 offsuits. They're like value raises. It's not like you're bluffing. Like you have the best hand. Most likely you're raising for value. If someone calls, you're in a very good spot. But if someone free bets, you know, then you can just let it go.
It's Brandon Adams with ace king this time, and it's Lucas Weimer with ace queen. Very similar situation.
I think he'll just call. Like if you get it in with ace queen here, you're never going to get it in against ace jack. You're never going to get it in against ace 10 or king queen, you know? So I would be very surprised if he does anything but call, but you never know. Free bet fold? Don't think so. Free bet call, definitely not. Shove is too much, I think. Yeah. Oh, he folds. Yeah, that's a good fold. Like it's a fine fold. Like I don't think it's bad. I would probably have called and gone post flop in position.
I'm amazed, Pads. I mean.
So typically in all the sims which people can buy and the websites coach off and stuff, they kind of advocate like basically no call-in in ICM kind of spots, or like very little call-in. So you just play free bet or fold essentially in lots of spots, and people take this to the extreme a lot and just decide on final tables to never have a free bet range. But if they're not going to have a free bet range, then having bluffs under the gun like king queen or king jack, whatever, is quite good, right? Like in the last spot with Pedro, because if people are going to just fold these queen opens, then it's a pretty big win. So yeah, I mean, I don't believe in those sims. I think there's a lot of faults behind them, like from some of the different tools. But right now, the current meta in tournaments is essentially to follow these sims very similar, and to not have much flat calling ranges on final tables. But yeah, the basic premise is that if you have a flat call and someone behind shoves, you basically can't call off with anything anyway. So if you start having a call-in range, people can just shove really wide on you behind and punish you for having this call-in range. But in reality, like, it doesn't happen.
Right. Yeah, people are on that brave, it turns out. A lot of money on the line.
And also people, if you have flat calling too wide pre-flop, then they can go crazy against you post-flop and just like put you into the cage and all that kind of stuff. And there's too much risk of you busting. But with ace queen, it's just a hand which plays really well in my opinion. But yeah, maybe I get too attached.
I'm with you. I see some of you guys in the chat having a little struggle. The free roll is called the WPT500 free roll. Hopefully that will help you find it a little bit easier to stumble across. They're on Party. The password's at the top of the screen there, Jay Dempsey. Please do get in the mix. It starts in 55 minutes. Myself and Pads are in there. Pads has got a $22 bounty on his head 3 times, guys. He's going to fire some bullets at this bad boy. And of course, first prize is a WPT 500C. And then there's $500 in cash being paid out for the rest of you. The rest of the unlucky lot, Pads. The ones who cash but don't quite get there. Yeah, some hands here, Pads. Talk to us.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here. I think Aaron has to fold because he has no fold equity, and Stoyan won't have underpairs. I think Pedro probably has to fold for similar reasons, and Andre, I think, will call. It's like it feels like there's loads of good hands, but then everyone ends up just having to play them really passively. Ace 9 may go for a shove. He may go for a shove, pick up 23 million. I think Stoyan's opening very wide, won't call off wide. Your 9 is not so great to have here. Yeah, he shoves. Interesting.
Right, because you want your opponent to have a hand like 9-10 suited, right, Pads? So the 9 kind of works against you, although in this case...
yeah. Nice. Good pickup for Pedro. It's nice. And he makes Andre fold ace queen in the big blind, you know? It's like a powerhouse, so...
yeah. David and Aaron are going to be...
Well, ace jack is actually quite close here. You could even make an argument for folding here for like 13 big blinds. It's not going to make much money shoving, but because he opened queen jack previously, I expected him to go with this hand. And ace king just has to go with it, and he's going to be quite happy to be against ace jack. And Aaron's spin up, you
called it. He needs
Oh,
to
God,
fade
I
a
think
spade or a jack. He does just that. And there we go. Pat, he's back. Aaron Bean with 80 mil. David now the shortest, down to that 30 million stack.
He was down
Some
to
early
12
trading.
million. It's quite
Right.
a spin up.
It's like stage 1 and stage 2 complete, Pad. There's a few more to go if he wants to get
Stage 8. I mean, he's 8x the stack. You know, like stage 8's done. It's big. King 8 raise. This will tell us a lot about Lucas's approach as well. If he folds really quickly, then yeah, he's just not interested or even thinking about. You know, a lot of people will either free bet or maybe like tank and think about free betting. I think if you don't tank and you just instantly fold, when Andrew watches the stream back, he's going to realize that it's not really even in Lucas's like consideration to go after him. So he's going to open maybe wider in the future, if that makes sense. So I'm not suggesting for people to tank and take a long time, but taking more than a couple of seconds in those kind of button versus small blind spots, whatever, especially when there's a stream on, I think is going to be quite good, because it's going to tell a lot about you. It's not like he randomized in 2 seconds and then folded, you know. It's like most likely he just decided to stay away, kind of thing.
Yeah, no
Brandon
shortage of
folds
interesting hands so far. Yeah, it does. Again, wow, these guys. There's some laddering interest, guys. Some laddering interest.
There is, but there's also like winning the tournament interest too, right? Like,
right.
You have
But
to
do you
get
think
all the
Pat's
chips
part-
if you want to win it.
Is part of that you sleep on it, you come in the next day to a final table, you have a lot of time to think about it. Do you think sometimes people get a little too caught up in laddering?
Yeah, but if everyone else thinks about the same thing, then it's good to be the opposite. Do you know what I mean? Like, if that's everyone's approach, then maybe be the opposite, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You would have flopped the top 2 here. Results orientated.
Yeah, but then not flush draw for Andre. More than enough to make the slightly better hand of Dylan fold.
Brandon has a really good podcast, by the way, if people haven't watched it. It's a lot about finance and investing, and he has a few good guests, like Tom Dwan is a guest. There's a few other really top guests, so we definitely recommend checking that out if you're interested in finance and poker.
There we go. That's sound interesting.
Yeah, he makes me feel very dumb, though, which is one bad thing.
I mean, was it? I'm trying to remember. Like, wasn't he like teaching at Harvard or something? Like, not going to Harvard, but teaching at Harvard. I mean, he was a game. I think he was a game theory. I think it was a game theory lecturer at Harvard, which is. Was it Harvard? Was it Harvard? Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, that's up there, right?
Yeah, he's a legend, and he's been around for a long time. Brandon Adams, like, he was playing Poker After Dark with Full Tilt badge like 15 years ago, I guess. You know, so he's been around. He also plays very high stakes. Like, he plays 100Ks and 50Ks and 25Ks, and he battles at the highest stakes. Like, when Poker Masters was on Party Poker, like, I guess 6 months ago, he was playing these tournaments. You know, he's active.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, wow.
David makes a stand with King 8. And wow, turns the 8. River repeats the 4. Dylan sends him to the rail. Pads, he drew a line. He had enough.
Yeah, he was a short stack, so he had to go quite wide. But yeah, I mean, yeah, nice for Dylan. Dylan second in chips now. I just feel like for some reason that Dylan's going to be around like the later stages. That's my just something. I'm not sure it's because he's at the bottom of the screen where you normally, like that's your normal seat. So I just feel like I'm drawn to him. I'm somehow drawn to Dylan for some reason.
I mean, he's got a good stack here, Pads, and he's got a great seat, isn't he? He's got the 3 biggest stacks is right, and Andre's the one who's been the most active so far, although we've seen has had plenty of hands. But he's got to feel good about being in that spot. It does 100%. Bode well. Davidis, he has some close spots now. 7s under the gun with 12 and a half, 13 blinds.
Yeah, I'm almost certain if he folds Ace Queen 10 suited on the button, I'm almost certain he'll fold 7s under the gun. Yeah, Ace 5 open. Maybe does Dylan move up the gears here and maybe find a free bet? It's not a bad spot. You can put big pressure onto Lucas here. Lucas doesn't want to play a big pot now. Doesn't take it. This is this kind of spot you'll see people like Andrus Nemeth, a damo, these guys would free bet this hand 100% of the time, you know, and it's fine to fold. It's just understanding more about how the player plays every time they get into these kind of spots.
Pedro with the butchers on the button. Davidas with ace-9 suited in the big, but it is Stoyan going to jump on it, Pat. Again, similar sort of thing.
Yeah, he's going to save Davidas. He's going to save Davidas, especially when there's those 4 stacks. There's so much chances of... Oh, Pedro just flattened him this time. I think Davidas will just... I think he'll just flat call here, ace-9. It looks quite scary for Pedro to flat call there. I think he'll just call suited hand, see a flop. I don't think he'll fold. Surely. Yeah.
Well, he does call. He flops second pair, backdoor spades, whilst Pedro has killed the board with top set. And a board pass that Stoyan's not really going to follow up on, is he, with the king 9-7 there against the in-position peel.
It feels like Pedro has king queen suited to like the players, so when it's king high board, he's going to just play very passive. It's kind of interesting for Pedro if he checks or bets. There's a lot of hands which can call like queen jacks and stuff. This is actually quite an action turn card, because not only does Stoyan pick up a straight draw, but he also has the ace of diamonds, so he can make Pedro fold like ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, because he blocks him having the diamond combos of those. So I think ace-8 will bet the turn here for sure. I don't see how he could ever raise pre-flop and then check this turn. So I imagine we're going to see a bet from him. And then shove on diamond rivers, probably. Oh, he checks, which...
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not sure if his plan is to check call. Your hand's a little bit too weak to check call and a little bit too strong to check fold. So it's like, when that's usually the case, you just typically usually bet for that reason. I don't think Pedro's going to allow this to check twice.
Right, so I was going to say, is that check going to cost Davidas here? Because will he have to continue now with the nut 9 after Stoyan checks twice?
Maybe. I mean, it's a messed up spot, that's for sure. I don't think Pedro will check. His hand's just going to bet. He doesn't want a 4 straight to come. Very, very ugly spot for Davidas. I guess he's going to fold. His hand just can't really improve. I think he will fold. And then for Stoyan, it's also very interesting with a straight draw. Like, you beat Queen Jack, you beat Queen 10, you beat Jack 10, all of which are going to be betting the turn here. You block aces, which is like something. You block the ace-x of diamonds. Will he go for a shove? I'm not sure what his plan is here. It's very intriguing. Very intriguing. Every option sucks, right? Once you get to this point.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pat. I'm kind of all the reasons you said. Kind of lean towards the bet on the turn with the ace of diamonds.
He's agonizing here. We can see though, right? Like, this is a real tank. After you take this long and call, feels quite weak as well. You feel like, oh god, he's going to bluff Queen Jack. Oh, he does go for the call.
Brick on the end. Yeah, that's the worry now, right? I mean, the call here, yeah.
Fake tank on the river.
Shut down.
The tank on the river is dying for him to check back. He's like, I'm going to tank and hopefully he gives up Queen Jack. Is he going to lead the river here? No, okay. He took a long time. Pedro obviously going to shove. It's actually not a bad spot to bet non-all-in, like bet 30 million. With a hand like Queen Jack or Queen 10, you can make him fold, you know, like ace-x of diamonds or ace 10 or whatever it may be for a cheaper price. And you can also value bet like somewhat thinner, and also keep your tournament alive when you somehow beat. So you could go for a non-all-in bet as well. But he goes for the all-in, which is completely standard as well. And Stoyan's thinking about it. Surely he's not going to put it in. The ace of diamonds is nice because Pedro won't bluff with the ace of diamonds in his hand because he wants Stoyan to have the ace of diamonds. Okay, he folds. But that could have been a hero call for the ages for sure. Oh, wow.
Pedro up to 140. Stoyan now gets the kings. Davidas got queens. Dylan's got ace-king suited. Pads.
I think
what's going to happen here? It's going to be carnage.
Ace King might just shove. He the way that he's been playing.
Right.
I don't think he's the kind of guy
he
to flat call Ace King. So he may just ship this one in.
He 3-bet rip 30 effective with queens. This Ace King goes for a smaller 3-bet. All right. Now what does Davidas do?
Well,
I mean, just got to go with this, right? We got 8 blinds. Got queens. What am I supposed to do?
And now Dylan's not going to be able to call this one off, I don't think, after the 2 all-ins. Because Stoyan's never going to shove Ace Queen here, so you're always against a pair or Ace King. Yeah. Stoyan is going to have to shove here. There's no other option. Your hand is just way too strong. And I think Dylan's just going to fold, but he's going to hate his life. There's not many clubs out, and there's also only 1 dead ace. So, you know. I feel like he maybe wins.
He's gone the different way. Last time 3-bet jammed in a very similar spot, although he was the shorter stack. Now he covers Stoyan, went for the smaller sizing. And it may allow him to get away from this.
Yeah. He's quite deep with that. Oh, wow, he snap calls.
Well, flops quads for Davidas. The flush for Dylan. We lose Stoyan. Wow. We lose Stoyan. Davidas with the triple up. Dylan makes profit, but Stoyan gone.
That was 460 million chip pots. That's unbelievable.
Wow. And I don't think there was a snap. I think that'd have been the max tank used, and then sometimes you get the little glitch with the replay where if there's a max tank used, then it shows up as instant. Because I'm with you, there's no way he's snapping that, is it? It was a tank down, I hate life call.
Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe. Wow, that is crazy. And Davidas is laughing. Yeah. Jesus. I mean, everyone on the table is buzzing, basically, right? Apart from Stoyan. Like, everyone either got a ladder, Dylan chipped up, and Davidas, over tripled up. So, oh wow!
And Brandon Adams has been given the ace 10 offsuit again.
he's been given this a lot of times. I think he's going to raise non-all in. I think that's the play, because when you raise, it's not like Andrew can just shove, because Andrew would be shoving like 50 big blinds effective. So you can kind of use their stacks against each other to raise non-all in here, I think. King's going to
I'm still getting over that hand. But I'm still getting over what we just saw. I mean, how nice Davidas there. He sees it. He sort of calls off all in pre-flop and then sees it go jam, call behind. Feels sick with the 2 queens. But then you're just screaming for a queen in your head. You're on the final table. Come on, just give me a queen. 2 of them pop out on the flop. Just on flops the quads. Yeah. And then he still manages to get a ladder pad somehow. He flops the quads and then the ace king runs down the kings. Amazing stuff.
Unbelievable.
What a start we've had this evening.
Another opportunity to raise non-all in here. Be interesting. No, he doesn't take it. Jack 10 is quite interesting. Oh, he folds. So this is also telling us about Lucas, right? He's playing quite tight. Jack 10, quite a nice hand to steal on the button. But what he says is, okay, I'm going to fold. Dylan's going to shove any 2 into Aaron. And Aaron's the shortest stack, so he has to call off quite wide. Dylan should definitely be shoving here. 7-5. Yeah, very good shove. And I guess we're going to see a fold. Good fold from Lucas. Seems smart guy. He's from Austria or Germany, is that correct, Lucas?
Austria, I believe, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's always hard to find. It's always hard to find out about their antics. The Germans and the Austrians, they seem to be missing from the Hendem of lot pads.
Yeah.
Comes Lucas again with ace 7 of clubs. Pedro in the big king 10 offsuit will surely defend this. Guys, if you're enjoying watching this final table, this is the WPT500, of course, and we are joined by the legend that is Patrick Leonard. We have our free roll going, but it's not the only thing we're giving away tonight. We, of course, as always, will be giving out 10 of those $11 tickets every single hour on the hour. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning one is click the follow button right here on Twitch. So please do go ahead and do that. And who knows, maybe you'll be getting your $11 ticket, spin it up into next week's WPT 500 knockout, and it could be you fighting it out for 6 figures on our stream. Pads is playing it right now, though, so you got to be careful. Oh, hello. Hello, Pedro with the 3-bet from the big blind with King 10 offsuit pads.
Yeah, Pedro loves the big blind 3-bet. I'm familiar with that. I think it's a good spot. You can make him fold King Jack and King Queen when you 3-bet King 10. You block 10s, which will go, Ace King, which will go. If you do get called by Ace Queen, you have OK Equity. This is nice. I like it. Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Big shove by... Yeah, very, very, very self-aware.
Wow.
Very, very nice to see.
And Paz, you said you play with both of these two a fair amount, right? So obviously it stands to reason that Lucas is aware of what exactly you said, that Pedro likes to 3-bet out the big blind a lot and said, well, you know what? I'm just going to drop it on him first time.
I played a lot of Pedro and Andre, not so much Lucas, but I actually I just saw now that Lucas beat me heads up in a WPT event last year. I just searched his name, and in the 2:15 7 max WPT event, Lucas beat me heads up. So I can't remember that. So he didn't do anything crazy, like he wasn't like going wild or anything. So he must just be like a very solid player. So that's interesting to
Pads,
see.
If he beat you heads up, he's got to be one of the best players in the world, right? That's the way it works.
I'm terrible. I'm terrible heads up for sure. So yeah, this is he's been. It's good to see that he's been playing WPT events for basically years. I guess like it seems like he's quite popular with them.
Yeah,
he has a trophy already. Yeah.
Adjust the dynamic again slightly here. That pickup, Lucas, Andre, and Dylan all over 200 mil, all set together. Aaron being the shortest, just slipping below at 10 blinds. As Lucas is going to try and get one through here.
I guess it will get through. Can't see anybody calling here.
Right, Davidas has been pretty snug, hasn't he? Although, obviously, a lot more chips courtesy of that triple up.
Very bad hand, though, the 10-5.
Guys, the free roll is kicking off in 36 minutes.
Wow.
Please do head on over to Party Poker. Oh, hello. Here we go. This is it. Brilliant. Using the image pads. We're talking he's made a lot of folds. Made some of those folds on the button. Now he clicks out a 3-bet. You're going to believe him, right? If you were playing this tournament and you'd watch the hands on repeat, you'd seen him make a couple of folds, and then you saw that 3-bet, you'd be throwing away a lot of good hands, wouldn't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Kind of an interesting choice, 10-5, like no blocker or anything. I think maybe in his mind is that Lucas just 4-bet shoved last hand against Pedro. Right. Is he really going to 4-bet shove again? Do you know what I mean? It's like using that to his advantage. Because ace-3 is also a good hand to shove,
Yeah.
Very intriguing.
Nice play. Nice play, Davidas.
100%. I'm thinking that probably if they're watching the stream back, he probably just folded Queen 10 like 30 minutes ago, so that's probably like happening at the same time.
Yeah.
Weird dynamic.
Folded the Queen 10, folded the 7s.
Yeah.
But I mean, and it's ladded up a couple of spots now. We're guaranteed 22k. We're up from 13 to start the day up to 22. Remember, this is a $500 buy-in event, so we're talking big money here for the buy-ins. We're talking big money in any buy-in event, but certainly
big tournament.
This
big tournament. How many total runners is this then? My maths is not so great. It's like 2,400 or something?
2,000, yeah, I guess so. What was it? 1211, I think, the prize pool.
It's crazy. That's a massive field. Massive field.
Yeah, so 2,422 it looks like.
I came somewhat, not deep. I came like, I think, 150.
Oh, yeah?
120.
That's deep enough. That's a sweat.
Well, depends how many bullets you had.
No,
I think it was actually my first bullet, surprisingly. But yeah, it was a nice tournament though. It just felt nice all the way throughout. A lot of action, not a tight tournament. Everyone seemed to be playing crazy. That's what I was kind of picking up. This is an interesting spot. Good turn card for the Razor, but good turn card in reality for Lucas.
Yes, potential fun spot here. Dylan does pick up a gut shot, but like you say, it's certainly a card that's supposed to favour him.
Yep. I would be shocked if we don't see a double barrel here from Dylan. Shocked. Big bet. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Lucas in a kind of a weird spot. It's so much of his stack. And I think Dylan has to triple this one off. Having no club, no ace in your hand, no 4, no 5. I think he may have to triple this one off because Lucas is going to have, like ace 5 of clubs, ace 4 of clubs, ace 10 of clubs, ace jack of clubs, ace 2 of clubs, queen x of clubs. So there's a lot of hands which are going to call, fold. So Dylan has a pretty nice hand to triple barrel the river with here. He also blocks king jack of hearts, which is a king x hand, which may have called the flop. King 9 of hearts might have called the flop with an... what?
Whoa.
That was crazy. That was a crazy fold. You even beat like ace jack, ace 10, dominate these hands, stuff like this.
Right.
He had a pair plus a flush draw. Yeah, that's wild. That's a wild fold.
Again though, Patrick, it's just there's a lot of money at stake here. He sees those 3 short stacks on the left. If he's watching the stream up to now, he's seen Dylan play pretty snug. Dylan's folded some hands that he could have 3-bet with. He's just played solid.
The ace also blocks some bluffs. Like he blocks in position having ace 10 with the club, ace jack with the club. The problem is it's such a good turn card for the in-position player that he's going to bluff here so often, I think. And also, even though there's some short stacks, even if you say, okay, I'm going to call and always fold unless I river a flush, and I'm still going to be left with more chips than three of the 5 guys, you're still going to be 3rd in chips or 4th in chips,
right.
So he's still 4th in chips now. Like Lucas is 4th in chips. If he called and then folded the river, he would still be 4th in chips. If he called and hit the river, he'd be chip leader, So like risk reward wise, even though you want to be careful, I still think that's a spot to maybe gamble and see a river, Yeah, I wonder if he did the. I wonder if he did the rabbit. I wonder if he did the rabbit hunt or not to see.
I couldn't do that to myself, Pads.
No, that is not one you want to watch. I don't.
Whoa, Dylan, coming out with the check raise. Got 6. Got a heart, Pads.
Yeah, wow, this is a brave call from the 4 as well, because it's a board texture where his bluffs might keep on barreling.
Right, and some of those bluffs could be backdoor clubs. There's
and
more potential here.
And you never have him absolutely demolished, like he always has like 2 overs and backdoor flush draw, straight draw.
Oh,
I believe this is going to go check.
Give it up on that specific turn. Obviously, he's got a gut shot. He's got 2 overs. Everything's live. I say he's got 2 overs. He's obviously got 2 overs to the 4 that we can see, not 2 overs in reality. The 7. Right.
It's a good card for him. He has a lot of 6, 7, 7, 6. 6, 7, 7, 6 is the same. 8, 6, 7, 6. Those kind of hands. 7 of hearts 10. Like he has 10, 6. He can have 10, 7. So this interacts a lot with his bluffs. So because of that, it's good to bluff the river with the. I mean, I don't think we want to show down 10, 6, but it's okay. Queen 4 is surely going to check now. Yeah.
Okay. Rabbits. Out of the hat. The cat's out the bag, even. The guys are going to lie. They're going to look at the history. They're going to look, what did Dylan have on that hand? Oh, the 10-6. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Lucas is probably going, wow, why did I fold the last hand? But there we go. He's got dealt 2-8s on the button for this one. Davidas, King 8 suited in the hijack. Dylan, Jack 9 of clubs in the small. See some more action here. We've not been light on action so far. These guys are putting on a show for us here at WPT500 final table.
100%. This is interesting. I think Lucas is calling, and Dylan's been really stepping things up. You may see a squeeze. Like Jack 9's not a completely outrageous hand to squeeze with.
I mean, is he going to squeeze after the last hand, or do you think that he may be in his mind? He goes, well, they're not going to think I'm bluffing now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, who knows? He calls
for the peel. All right.
In the small blind. This is something you don't see often because you're usually dominated by Queen Jack, King Jack, Ace Jack. This might check through though, I think. Like King 8 a
Yes.
bit weak to bet, maybe. Yeah, pocket 8's definitely going to check. What's the action turn card we want here? Like, there's not really.
Well, an eight wouldn't be a miss.
Yeah.
Eight would be carnage, but the 4 of spades gives Davidas a little warmer feeling inside, turning the flush draw to go with his top pair. Dylan, still just the gut shot, Lucas the under pair.
If Dylan goes for it, it's interesting because Dylan was folding, the ace 10 and stuff before. Do you remember those times? And I was like, oh, like really careful player. And now he's just exploded. I hope I didn't induce that. If he's watching.
Well, I think partly, Pads, it was just stack size. Andre was the one doing opening. He folded the ace 10. He was covered when he had the queens. He just threw it rip for like 28 blinds. Ever since he's covered these guys, he's been far more willing to get involved. So just obviously playing 100%. A very ICM-aware sort of strategy. And wow.
Interesting.
Gets there on the end after checking once more.
Jack 9 might just bluff, just thinking, like no one's shown much interest here. He can represent King Queen, King Jack. Yeah, this is not surprising to me to see. Very interesting. I think Davidas just call though. Like raising would definitely be too thin. You're going to run into ace x of spades too much. You even block the king. Like if you have
Right.
Yeah.
If it was a queen high board, say, and you had king 8 of spades, then you'd be more in favour of the raise. But when you're blocking the top pair, it makes a lot more sense just to call. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because what's going to call you? You're blocking the top pair value bets kind of thing.
Oh, Davidas, what a spin up this has been. Pads was sub 10 blinds, sat there with queens against kings and ace king. Next thing you know, got quarter of Billy, one of the chip leaders. So it makes this game so much fun and so much pain at the same time. Stoyan's saying this game's not so much fun at the moment. Got it in thinking he's going to have a 400 million stack instead to make do with 8th place.
Yeah.
Guys, passwords at the top there. Jay Dempsey, head on over to party. The free roll is called WPT500 free roll because, well, it's WPT500 seat up for grabs up top and 500 in cash for the remaining finishers. I mean, pads are in there. If you're not pads out, you get a bonus $22 Legends ticket. I'm trying to go too fast here. $22 ticket if you're not pads out. The first 3 people who do so, because it's a hybrid. It's a rebuy free roll. You can buy back in for $1 a go. Just be careful out there. You gotta be careful with these free rolls pads. I cashed it a couple of weeks ago and lost money. It's not good news.
Really? That's funny.
They got me. Aaron, ace, deuce is gonna rip from the button. Pedro with deuces in the small. Not much he can do. And Brandon Adams is going to go up the 8-4. Aaron gets a key one through there. Gets himself even with Brandon.
Yeah.
So, Pads, what are you playing on the side? You were talking, obviously, we got all the side events going off in the WPT 500 at the moment. You're playing, of course, the knockout for next week. But what else are we in?
Yeah. I'm also in the Tuesday 500, which is like basically like the Super Tuesday that people may know from PokerStars, but it's like half the price. It's half the price. It's $500 and it's a 100K guarantee, which is pretty nice. 100K guarantee for 500 is pretty nice. 200 runners. I think I made a tweet about this last week that basically the Super Tuesday was always like one of the most favorite tournaments for everybody. And I think last week PokerStars, this is not like talking down or anything, but PokerStars Super Tuesday I think had like 30 runners or something, 35 runners, and now Party Pokers have 200, even though it's like half the price, fair enough. But it's still nice to see, that Party are really fighting on those kind of fronts and putting on, really good tournaments, satelliting in, dozens of players for every big tournament. So I thought I would play that as well and kind of support it because I think it's nice to see these tournaments do well, especially because it's a freezer, it's a vanilla, like vanilla's. It's nice to support vanilla tournaments, I think.
For
Andrew
sure.
raised 7-3. Yeah, so nice.
Davidas just trying to catch his breath, really. In action once more. Wow. Flops the double gut shot with the nut flush draw whilst Andre flops top and bottom. Pads. What's going
This is
on? These are
massive.
not highlights, guys. You are watching this live on delay, of course, but we are watching every single hand. This is you could be forgiven for thinking that's not the case.
100%. I think we're just going to see a call here, I would imagine.
Right. Doesn't mean
Because he doesn't want
something on this board having limp called, right?
He doesn't want to get it in, and he doesn't mind if Andrew keeps bluffing or. It's not like you can make Andrew fold pocket eights or anything. This is a massive turn.
Wow.
I think we're going to see Andrew using a big bet size here too.
Yeah, because he unblocks all those potential straight draws, right? Doesn't have any spades. It's going to be a huge pot, Pat.
Yeah, he may use a small sizing because his range may want to bet small to just put pressure on like ace highs and queen highs, which miss the turn. Like you can bet small to make queen jack of diamonds fold, but you can also just bet your hand and be greedy. And it seems like he's going to do the latter. And this is a 6-spot. We saw Lucas fold in a similar-ish spot before, but I don't think Davidas will fold. Surely, such a powerhouse.
Double gut shot, nut flush draw continues. Pricks the river. Wouldn't you know? How grim does that feel? See the queen of clubs roll off.
Is this too thin to shove? I don't think so, right? Like, surely it's a value shove.
He covers, right? When you cover, I think you've got to be shoving it, surely, Patrick. I mean, I know what you mean. You're worried you'd run into, I don't know, king 7 or I don't know what. Yeah, how many king 7s?
Maybe like
limp call pre-flop. There's only one left, right?
Yeah, maybe king 6 folds something, you know, like on the river. Who knows? But yeah, I mean, I was just curious to see if you would definitely shove. But I think he'll shove. I mean, it just when you raise 7 free pre and steal, and then you flop 2 pair, your hand just feels invincible, you know.
Okay.
But he definitely doesn't want to snap call. You know, it's like you don't want him to just call quickly. That's something you don't want to happen.
All right, he shoves. We're surely going to see the fold, and
yeah. Well, yeah.
I know. I say surely. You know, he does beat some hands, but I don't think we're going to see him.
And it's like, how wide is
that one?
The question is like, how wide is Andrew shoving on the river? You know, like, is he shoving?
Some more interesting hands here, Pads. We've got Dylan with the aces, Davidas with the 6s on the button, Andre 5s in the small, Lucas king 10 suit in the big blind. Are we going to go 4-way?
I think we will. I think the button will call always. Like, folding would be too tight against Dylan as well. And I think Andrew has to call the small blind then. And then I think Lucas could shove the big blind, but that would be a pretty good play with lots of dead money. But let's see. Oh, he folds.
Wow. Taking a break, Pads. He needed a break, I think. He's been involved.
Not a bad decision. Just lost a huge pot. Make sure mentally you're okay for the next hand. Not a bad spot to shove for Lucas, honestly. A lot of dead money. Your hand plays really good. Winning 35 million is pretty nice. Dylan's been very loose. Andrew's going to flat call very wide against Dylan. You can fold out king, queen, and king, jack.
Ooh. I mean, Pads, Lucas went for the check call, check fold a few minutes ago. Now he's going to be facing the same action again, you would imagine, bar some funky turn cards.
100%.
Dylan's got his man here. Size-wise on king 9-4 with the small blind peel. I mean, small blind's supposed to connect to this board a reasonable amount, right?
Yeah, like they either connect or they completely miss. So they either have like, you know, the queen jacks, the king 10s, or they have like ace 5 of like clubs and pocket 5s with no heart. So like it's a kind of board where they either hit or they miss, which sounds kind of silly, but you can just bet a small size in for what you're trying to achieve. Like if you're bluffing with say jack 10, you don't need to bet big.
Right.
Lucas will just call here, yeah. He could lead the turn potentially because he may have some 9x and he slows the action down. He could maybe bet, you know, 10% pot. He can still get called from hands like ace queen and ace jack, which beat all the bluffs. He stops, you know, Dylan just blasted off into him. You stop king queen. You like almost like slow a king down by leading. Whereas if you check, aces and king are probably going to start betting a bigger size in. Whereas if you bet yourself your 8 million, aces probably doesn't raise. Probably thinks it's way ahead, way behind. And now you face this 35 million, and this is an ugly spot with king 10.
Yep. Just like before, Lucas facing a bigger bet on the turn.
Yeah.
It's going to be a horrible river spot, Pads.
I don't think he's going to get to the river, is my read. But
wow, okay.
Because he calls. Yeah. I mean, once you call the turn,
this is going to be grim. Last time he folded the turn, this time he's going to have to fold the river. This time he's behind.
Again, for Dylan, it's somewhat close. It's somewhat close for sure, because if he folds, let's say king 10 versus a shove, then how good is even shoving aces, But
yeah,
it's a double peg board. Yeah, I'm not super surprised. I'm not super surprised to see him check back.
The nine's pretty reasonable, isn't it? It's very reasonable. Lucas's peel with a 9, hit it, check called flop, but obviously then just check called turn. The 4 not as relevant, you would assume. I mean, I'm assuming he's folding a 4 nearly all the time on the turn, but
it seems like Dylan used a really big turn sizing to basically check back the river. He was like, okay, I want to make, instead of betting 10 million on the turn and then 50 million on the river, I'm just going to bet 35 million now and then check back. It stops the big blind from bluffing me. It stops anything crazy like that happening. And I'm happy my hand is worth 35 million. That's kind of how I think he's approached that spot, which is not unreasonable. I can see merits behind that.
Well, what else is going on? The blinds have gone up, Pads, and these 3 short stacks, look at this, 10 bigs and below, and they just sing action every hand, Patrick. You're like, okay, well, something could happen.
If Lucas raises normal in here, we might see a shove from Dylan. If Lucas goes for a min raise instead of a shove, I'm fearful that Lucas will shove here instead of min raising. I think min raising is definitely good because you allow the small blind to shove on you with hands you dominate. He goes to the shove. Doesn't allow himself to double up, the chance to double up here. Yeah, I think min raising is nice here, but
again, you see the 3 short stacks. You're thinking, well, hang on, I don't want anything yucky happening. It's just
but the hands that you're going to be against are going to be ace-x. Dylan's going to shove ace-4. He's not going to shove 6-7 suited. Do you know what I mean? So you just, when he does get it in with a wider range, you usually have 60% equity or 70% equity against that range. Which is pretty nice. But yeah, I understand. Also, it's tough. And I guess he's going to shove again. Ace check offsuit here.
A very similar spot.
There's two of the stacks have less than 10 big blinds, so it's not like he's shoving 20 big blinds here effective. Okay. It's only there's two stacks who have short set. Yeah, give himself a chance to get away.
Right, but once he just gets it through, and these 3 short stacks all going through the blinds together, all getting even shorter. Pedro, king queen in the small, looks to be the one that may just win this pot, Pads. I'm going to give this one to him. And that's huge if he picks up.
Aaron might shove, thinking that he needs to get something through. These 2 stacks don't want to call him off wide. He's not getting many chances to raise because Dylan and Lucas are in front of him playing very aggressively. It's kind of a spot where you can maybe take a bad spot because of the future game. But yeah, folding's obviously reasonable. It's sometimes nice to take minus EV spots, as weird as that sounds, because in the future you're not going to get any plus EV spots, so you're just going to blind out. And he's the short stack, Aaron, right? He's the shortest stack. If he can't outweigh Brandon, he's going to pay the blinds before him.
Right.
So. And the next payout's not that big. It's 22k, but first place is 180k, so.
Yeah, it's... 22k from 500 is fantastic. Let's go. Let's try and get 6 figures. Let's get up to 180.
Yeah, and the guys already have a bunch of money locked up. Do you know what I mean? It's not like it's 22k or 0. It's it's 15k or 22k.
All right.
I'm assuming Brandon's going to shove here. 6 big blinds, suited queen.
It does.
I know this is going to sound ridiculous, right? But from my history playing real name tournaments, people who have free names like Dylan Glen Rowe displayed as their name, they always play really aggressively. Like, I'm not sure what it is about it, but I've noticed a trend that people who are proudly displaying their full triple barrel name also triple barrel post flop as well a lot. It's weird. I know you're gonna say I'm crazy, but I'm telling you.
It's the old.
Watch out for this playing.
Well, isn't the old thing that like assassins always seem to have 3 names? Like
oh really? I didn't
John
know
Wilkes
that.
Booth, like John Wilkes Booth, Lee Harvey Oswald, all those.
Wow.
It's always a thing. Like, so maybe they're just assassins in the making. Like,
Jesus, I didn't know about that. Interesting.
Yeah,
honestly,
there's some others as well. I know it's a weird thing.
If you have someone at your table with all 3 names displayed, watch out for them. I'm telling you, they're dangerous. They're bluffing a lot. Yeah, someone's saying in the chat that the Brazilians have 6 names and play crazy. So maybe there's something in it.
Here we go, guys. In the chat, give me some 3 name like assassins or lone shooters. Like get them in there. Oh, hello. Brandon Adams gets the aces. It's going to pop it up. Davidas. It's going to give him a spins. Wow, 9s and 10s behind for Novak.
This is crazy.
See here,
oh, wow, he just calls.
More carnage. Just calls.
This is messed up. I mean, like, what to do with 10s here? Because you want to be aggressive, but, like, you think they're trapping. You don't know what's going on. Like,
right. I mean, not... Okay. That does the. I mean, I don't really know actually what this raise accomplishes because you can't really fold, can we, if we get jammed on?
If Dylan goes all in, you can get away.
Oh,
if Dylan
Dylan does.
has jacks plus whatever.
Well, he flops a 10. Brandon Adams, patient as you like. The boot's no good. Was in for a 150 mil pot, but is out.
Yeah.
7th place. Yikes!
That was almost
Andre Novak over the $500 million. Right.
Yeah, it was almost. But you know what I think would have happened if he shoved? I think if Brandon shoved, Davidas would have reshoved, and then Andrew would have folded 10s, and Brandon's aces would have beaten 9s. So even though it worked out nicely that he got almost a triple up, he actually, serendipity-wise, he would have probably still been in the tournament, which is pretty messed up.
That's just the bizarre levels of luck pads in poker, right? Just little things like that, like you say. Like if you don't even think about it, you just think, oh, I got aces. But you're right. Like Davidas just rips, he probably doubles up.
I mean, if Brandon's too smart to worry about this kind of stuff, but this is the kind of stuff where someone with a simple mind like myself, if I'm in bed before I sleep, I'm like, I wish I just shoved. I wish I just shoved here.
Brilliant. Aaron shoves blind on blind. Davidas back down. Davidas spun it up to 250 mil, right? And now it's back down to about 100 mil. But is the sort of biggest of the third place of the 4 shorter stacks?
I might see a big shove here. Oh, 6-4 could maybe shove any 2 cards here because all 3 guys have to call off tight. It could definitely be tempting, especially the guys are playing quite tight. King 5, very easy shove. Yeah.
6-4 get through, guys. We've got 10 minutes until the free roll starts. Head on over to Party Poker. It's called the WPT500 free roll. Password is J Dempsey because I'm an egomaniac. Pads has got a $22 bounty on his head. The first 3 people to knock him out will get that Legends ticket. First prize, a WPT500 seat, and there's 500 in cash played out to the remaining players. As we do see a jam here from Aaron now. Davidas, King Jack suited, Pads in the small.
Just fold in. Yeah. It's kind of hand you want to be the one shoving yourself rather than calling off.
All right.
King 9 these are spots that are always interesting, like 12 big blinds, because you don't really want to fold. It's too much to shove. You don't really want to raise fold. You definitely want to raise calls. It's like every option sucks, you're the shortest stack. He goes for the shove, which is quite a big shove, but
right.
Could be fine.
Straight into this ace queen of Lucas.
Ace queen cannot fold here, that's for sure.
Right, but King 9 very live. Not so live anymore, Pads. The ace 6 ends it. Aaron Bean, who did come in shortest or second shortest, ends up busting out in 6th for just under 29k, and just like that already. Not even an hour and a half into tonight's stream, we're down to the final 5.
Mm-hmm.
Still, 2 players just over 10 bigs.
Yeah, very interesting. I'm not sure if you saw my. You'd probably be very good for this, James. I tweeted yesterday about some big tournaments which used to run online like 5-10 years ago. Like the 22 cubed and like the Sunday Brawl on Full Tilt and the on-game like major stuff like that. I'm trying to get Party to do during the next series to do on a Thursday, to basically do Throwback Thursday and do big tournaments which used to be on in the last 10 years and have them all on one day. So like, stuff which was on all the sites. Like even, do you remember the $1 rebuy, stuff like this? But I was trying to remember, because I didn't play on Party like, 8 years ago, whatever. What used to be the like major on Party back in the day? Do you remember this?
Well, during the week, you mean like do you mean the Sunday one?
On a Sunday, yeah. Was it like a 50 rebuy? Was it something like this, or am I making that up?
I feel like, wasn't it just like a 200? I think it was a 200 as well, wasn't it? With just like a $500,000 guarantee or something. I think
215 500k. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard because I mean, so it changed so often, didn't it? And so it's hard to pinpoint. But I think I always seem to remember that being on Party. But yeah, I mean, the rebuys pads they're just not really a thing anymore, is it? I mean, everyone's sort of
no.
Well,
they are a thing, but they're just re-entries. Like it's the same thing. People have more buy-ins into a tournament, but they can't have them on top of each other and build a big stack and gamble. It's like it's a re-entry where you only get one stack, which is I used to like having the double add-ons and the double rebuys and really trying to spin it up.
They were the best. I mean, they were the best. Like the 55, the 109 rebuys. They got spicy, man. They got if you got the right starting table.
Even the 11 rebuys. You remember, like they had like 20k for first every day and stuff. It was like wild times. Yeah. Who used to be the legend of the 100 rebuy? Do you remember who used to be the king of the 100 rebuy? Was it like Rounder 63 or was it like Never Scared B? I seem to remember playing crazy and getting strokes.
I was trying to think who's. I mean. Just so many, like, it's just great to see some of those names still around. Like Ape Styles just used to be smashing around in that bad boy, now still around.
Oh, really? I didn't remember him. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, obviously the people like Mormon was always in there mixing it up. JP Kelly, I remember, always used to be in the 109 rebuy going a bit crazy.
Oh, really? Okay, that's interesting. I didn't know that. That's really interesting to see.
Yeah. AJK, DJK as well. Like, wow, all these names coming back to me, Pads, from like 10, 11, 12 years ago. And that used to be the biggest like nightly event, didn't it? The 109.
Yeah. How much was it for first? Do you remember? Like, was it like 30k, 40k or something?
I think so, yeah. And then it was like 80 or 90 on the weekends. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
It was such a good tournament. Yeah, they were such good tournaments at the time.
I remember I came second in it on a Sunday without playing heads up. We just had a 3-way all in. And I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was like a wild, kind of scenario that'd be impossible to happen now. Like everyone would just be like, wait, I better make sure I leave some chips back before. Like back then, it was just like, I guess I'm all in with this hand. Like, these days I'd have been. Yeah, I see some on the chat. Big Dog Pocket Fives. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah, some little Hold'em, of course, as well. It's a name that's cropped up twice to me recently, actually. But Davidas ripping King Jack.
You might get a call here from a7. Maybe, you know, like you can afford it, let's say, but you'll probably fold and start calling like ace-9. But yeah,
right, just a little too weak.
Yeah, your 7 doesn't really do too much. You know, he probably doesn't have like king-7, but he probably has king-9. You know.
Well, WPT's got his favourite hand once more. The 2 queens.
Yeah.
Seeing these names in the chat, Johnny Banks, yeah, he's always been there as well. Just going to rip it in once more. The queens.
And net as well, I guess, was around there.
Yep, certainly a net. Yeah, wow. Those were the days. Well, the rip's going to get through, Pads, and that's going to take us to our first break of the evening. So, guys, please do head on over to Party Poker. The free roll is going to start in around 3 minutes. But myself and Patrick will be back in 5 minutes for more of this 5-handed play here at the WPT 500.
Well, watch now. Now we're playing.
He was playing already.
And now I'm playing.
The hand before this,
Now I'm playing.
Tran has bluffed him and showed it.
Now I'm going to play with him.
He actually plays, he doesn't just talk about it.
I love to see rolling needle and Helmuth. He's one of the best.
Oh, I called him down for his whole stack third pair last year. You don't remember that? You want to play with me? You got it, my friend. You've declared war. I've accepted your terms.
But this is Phil kind of owning himself here, really, with the speech.
I'm in for the big blind, I think.
And Helmuth had been getting shown a lot of bluffs in this entire Premier League.
You can't get 3-bet if you don't raise, right?
I think Tran had just made a move on him the last hand.
Can't get 3-bet if you limp.
Raise it. Yeah, but you can
Punish
get
him for
raised.
limping. Yeah, punish him. Teach him a lesson.
Punish the limpers.
Yeah, punish
And he's
them.
doing it the same way all the time. Helmuth cannot deal with JC Tran limping. He's just like, he can't accept it. He's raised this out of the small blind.
It was funny how he announced he declares wars and then immediately raises. I think he's just steaming.
Oh, he's steaming here. He just cannot bear to be shown up. Now, of course, in Premier League 3, even though JC won, Helmuth did make a couple of great reads against him, and I think he's just out to outplay him all the time.
That is 35,000.
I don't know how Helmuth's going to butcher this hand, but I just remember it felt like he did. I mean, it's not a great hand to 3-bet with in the first place, is it? But you gotta bet the flop when you
Especially
do.
against someone who's quite sticky like JC Tran. He's going to peel you a lot when he doesn't hit, and
48.
you know he's going to try and outplay you. He's not just going to give up if he misses.
And Helmuth's betting here because he thinks he's behind, or because he's
just betting to try and blow JC off like a type of hand he has, or like your hand like pocket 6s or pocket 5s that he might have called with as well. He obviously just expects JC to fold those on the turn.
And I wonder if, can you sometimes call here and try and win this on the river if you're JC? I can't remember.
I like to call here, yeah, because once you call again here, it kind of looks like you have an ace.
In fact, going for the raise, does it make it feel more like a bluff to you?
Yeah, it feels more like a bluff, but Phil Helmuth's the type of player that doesn't really do too much about it. It's hard to do. I mean, what do you do here with 10-2?
The amazing thing is Tran can only get him off a hand like this. He must know there's a legitimate chance that Phil has something like this.
Yeah. Phil Helmuth's steaming, look.
I mean, it is. He's played this hand. Just you can't play like this against JC. You can't push JC Tran around like this unless you're willing to shove it in, right?
Yeah, yeah. JC's played this hand really well. I'd love to see what's going on in Phil's head right now.
Well, Tran's going to show him the hand after, like,
yeah,
for
he
sure.
has to show after that table talk, doesn't he? I'm looking forward to the roll and DeWolf needle too.
Yeah, you just know it's coming. Even though JC would not go on to win this Premier League, he did beat Phil at every turn.
How much you have left? I guess maybe you have me covered, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, he really wants to shove, doesn't he?
Yeah, he definitely doesn't want to fold after all that speech, and his read isn't too bad. He obviously thinks that he might be getting bluffed here, so he's having a good think about it.
Well done.
He even said nice move.
You don't have an ace, do you?
He passed, and Chan's going to show him now. Watch Phil explode.
Now I'm really on tilt.
We've just seen the champion Hold'em player at work.
What if I have a spade?
Okay, guys, welcome back to this, the WPT 500 final table. You're joining myself and, of course, Patrick Leonard for the duration of this final table. And Pads, it's been pretty rapid so far. We're down to 5.
It's been eventful for sure, yeah. Yeah, been eventful for sure.
Guys, if you are just joining us, the free roll has begun. Head on over to Party Poker. It's called the WPT 500 free roll. Password is at the top there. You see Jay Dempsey. Please do go ahead, jump in. It's a 500 seat up for grabs for first and 500 in cash paid out for the remaining players. And, of course, a bounty on Patrick's head, $22 ticket. If you're one of the 3 people who knock him out, or the first 3, I should say. So, guys, best of luck. If you're in there, if you're in the chat as well and you're on Patrick's table, do let us know. I want to know if anyone's got the early sweat. Chance to bust him out.
Somebody busted me first hand. Alexander Lazinski from Republic of Belarus took me out, so congrats to him.
5.
Brave,
$22 already.
Brave call from my friend.
Yeah, and guys, of course, we're doing those giveaways every hour. Of course, you've missed out on the hour just gone, but if you press follow now, you'll be eligible for the next one and all future giveaways. So why not just press it now if you haven't already clicked the follow on this channel. And Pat, I'm just glad that the first couple of hands since we came from break, there's been no massive drama. Just gives a chance to ease back into it. That was crazy hands we saw at the start of this
100%.
final.
Andrew chipping up here as well, a little bit.
Yeah. Things, obviously, for these 3, a little deeper, but still got the 2 short stacks out here. Pedro sub 10 and in the big blind this hand. He's getting a little desperate for him. Davidas just stretching away a little bit further away from his fellow short stack. Man, Davidas has had the roller coaster so far. If you didn't see earlier on, came in as one of the shortest stacks. Start spin up, won a huge triple up, then won a few more hands. Got himself up to 250, 260 mil. Slipped back down to, well, slipped back down to 70, but is now back above 100. Rip from Dylan with the 7-8. Pedro in the big with King 6. Is this enough, Pads?
As a short, it's quite close. When you're against any 2 cards, it doesn't matter too much if you have King 6 or King 7. Like, they play quite similar. He's the short stack. If he doubles up, he'll have 120 million. Yeah, I'm not too surprised to see him call here. Oh, God.
He calls
Unlucky
and loses.
again. Yeah.
Dylan spiking at 7 on the turn. Davidas ecstatic. Dylan ecstatic. Hey, everyone's pretty happy with the ladder up. Dylan up to 318 million. Wow.
I mean, this is
Pedro,
a quick
30,
final table.
38k Pedro got for 5th. Already down to the final 4. But as I say, I mean, it is deepening up, right? I mean, Dylan's got 50, but he's obviously Andre covers.
It's deepening up for 2 players, but for the other 2, it's very shallow still. Like, Davidas has 12, like, Lucas has, 25, whatever. So, yeah, it looks like we're going to see the 2 guys getting heads up, but you never know, that any player is quite close to being back in the mixer.
Right, if Lucas were to knock out Davidas here, suddenly you've got a more kind of a delicate 3-way position, I guess. Who knows what's going to happen? Davidas probably going to double up through someone. It can all change pretty quickly. Well, Andre's got the aces in the big blind, and if it folds to Davidas in the small with King 5 pads, King 5 from the small, this is like a pretty good hand.
He's probably going to be all in here, I think. Yeah, it's not thrilling, but yeah, like he'll probably be all in here.
And is going to charge headfirst into a buzzer if he does. Andre just sitting there going, please. Dylan's saying, please, jam. If only he knew. There is the jam. Andre gets to press call with the aces. Got to just hold against the King 5 offsuit.
The rich get richer.
And,
oh.
Well, okay. Well, just the quads. Just the quads. Davidas out in fourth, picking up 55,700. And there we go. Down to 3 already. Yikes. I mean, that flop pad was almost dead, but he had the backdoor straight draw.
Yeah, backdoor flush draw too. I'm not the greatest mathematical poker player, but it feels to me like quads come quite often. How likely does anyone in the chat know? How likely is it that you have quads? Like one in how many hands do people know? Because it feels like I see it every day. You know, like is it once every 3,000 hands, 5,000 hands, 10,000 hands? Do you have any idea, James? Or
no, I don't know. I mean, it's not a stat that I've really thought to have
like,
my
people
head.
sometimes say you get like a roll flush every 200. Oh, you did,
look, okay. So because I'm curious straight away, but
say a number and I'll say over or under. Then you can obviously level me whatever way.
Well, let's see if Twitch chat can get in there.
Okay, let's see what they say.
I've got to make sure first of all I'm looking at the when I'm cheating that I've actually got the right answer.
A few people are saying, well, one person is saying, well, we see 2 different answers here. Someone suggests 400 to 1, someone suggests 13,000 to 1, so it's very different.
I think the 400 to 1 is if you start with a pair, would be my guess. That sounds about right.
Okay. That's even still quite good.
Yeah, you'd be not. Yeah, that sounds. Does that sound right?
I honestly do feel like I get daily quads. Like it feels like it's a thing, and I feel like I play about 5,000 hands a day, whatever. Well, who knows how many hands? Less than that, I guess. Probably a few thousand hands a day. So I don't know. Doesn't feel like every 13,000 hands at least. What was your number then, James? After there's been a few guesses now. So
I had a quick Google, and a number came up here like 4,000 and something, but I didn't. I just sort of saw the headline, so I don't know if it's even give me the right thing. Let's have a look. Yeah, chance to get 4 of a kind in Hold'em looks to be 1 in 4,165 hands.
Okay.
Lucas going for it against Andre here from the small. This is suited ace. Obviously, Pad's kind of freed up here, isn't he? He suddenly found himself 3-handed, getting 84k locked up. The other 2 have got so much more. It's like, right, the boys, I'm just going to go for it from here. Like, there's no reason to do anything but play hard.
They have so much more, but they don't really want to lose 150 million either. Do you know what I mean? Like, if Dylan loses 150 million, he's the short stack all of a sudden. And Andre loses his command and chip lead now if he loses 175 million. So almost for Lucas, it doesn't matter too much, but for the other guys, it really matters.
Right.
So Lucas can just go pretty wild here, I think. Pretty crazy in the spot. Put the pressure on, you know, like ask them, okay, do you want to gamble with me? I'm ready to gamble, kind of thing. Someone says 400 to 1 to flop quads if you have a pocket pair.
Yeah, that was making more sense to me with the pocket pair. When I said that to run it out, that sounded way too high because you're about 8 or 9 to 1 to flop the set, and then you've got 2 pulls at the quads. So yeah, that sounds like more sense.
The thing is, I guess people don't see it as often because if you fold your hand, the hand runs out, and you've played that hand, and you haven't flopped the quads, right? So like, if you play 4,000 hands, most of them don't go to the turn or the river or even the flop. So I guess you see it yourself, probably like 1 every 12,000 hands or something like this.
Right, and it always
Yourself.
you don't play with the 10-6 offsuit that ends up running out like 6-6-6 turn flop turn river, whatever. You don't even notice it.
But if
Guys,
everyone else you're playing,
jump in this free roll. We're giving it away. 500 WPTC up for grabs, up for first. And of course, 500 in cash, the remaining payouts. Please head over to party. It is password J Dempsey for that free roll. It's been going for 10 minutes. You've got 48 minutes left of late reg, and you've even got a chance of getting a bonus if you knock the pads out. Dylan going big here on the river with his jack. And
yeah. This could be an all-in from Andrew, potentially, for King 9 for 20 big blinds, 25 big blinds. He may raise non-all-in. It'd be very interesting to see what he does here. Okay, he calls. Could have been aggressive with his hand. King 10 gonna check, I guess. You don't want to bluff King 10, it's too strong a hand.
yeah, and the really good news is pads I've just tripled up in the free roll. So, there you go.
Nice. I have
focus on
200k. Oh, he raises non-all-in. This is fascinating. Because if you get limp shoved on, is he calling off here, or it's an interesting one?
Yeah.
Value bet on the flop. Andrew shouldn't have much 3x, much 7x. Can get called by queen highs, jack 10s, queen 10s, jack 9 of hearts, stuff like that. If you fold out 9-8, it's also okay.
Right, 44 million already in there.
I like
Yeah,
it.
it does. 14, a couple of blinds.
I think Andrew will fold and just continue when he has a suited hand. Yeah, I think that's a really nice disciplined fold.
Yeah, as you say, all of a sudden, a fair amount deeper. This tournament, Lucas clawing his way back towards 30 blinds.
Yeah. Dylan may go after him here. He's been quite quiet recently. It's not a bad hand to bluff. If you raise jack 4, you can make jack 7 fold, jack 6 fold, jack 5 fold, jack 8 fold. King 7 is kind of a hand you play aggressively a lot of the time, so he may go for a shove here. A lot of dead money, out of position, decent blockers, sort of call. This is an interesting flop. It doesn't seem too crazy, but you have an overcard, backdoor flush draw, and a straight draw against bottom pair, backdoor flush draw. I'm sure there's going to be some chips going in somewhere at some point in this hand. King of diamonds. Jack of hearts. Jack of hearts is a good turn card. Oh.
The 7.
I guess he value bets 7.
Yeah, like a little
Dylan
value
shouldn't
slash.
Yeah, Dylan shouldn't really have an 8. You'd bet the flop with an 8, right? He shouldn't really have a 5 because you'd bluff the flop if he had a 5. So feels like King 7 usually wins. He checks it. Jack 4 checks. And then,
wow, checks back, drills the jack. Jack of clubs rolling off non-flush. And I mean, now Lucas just... How could he fold this?
yeah. So Dylan will for sure bet now. It's tough. It's like, what does he put Dylan on to bluff as well? Do you know what I mean? Because you feel like most hands which would bluff the flop, maybe the turn,
Right.
if you have a hand like... It's like, you need him to have like queen free or 10 free. They're the only really bluffs you could have, you know?
Yeah, well, he's faced some tough spots against Dylan so far. They folded a pair with flush draw. He called with top pair, but got the showdown against the aces. Now facing, 2/3 here. with a pair.
You might see an impressive fold here. It'd be very impressive to fold. Let's see.
Right, I mean, it's only a jack, isn't it? It's only a jack. But then what jack X even checks turn?
What jack?
Like, there aren't many.
Ace jack.
Like,
yeah.
I don't think you could really fold their pads.
No, it's tough. It's hard to find bluffs, but it's hard to find value. It's one of those weird spots, isn't it? Delicate spot.
And Dylan's, he's gone fairly hard in this final, so
yeah, he could be bluffing. He was bluffing Jack 9 before. Do you remember? So he could just be playing wild.
Well, that does level things up a bit between Andre and Dylan. Sends Lucas back below 20 bigs. Guys, get in the free roll. You've got plenty of time still to reg, but do head on over to Party. Get in the mix, WPT500 seats, Day Legend tickets, and of course, cold hard cash in the pot. And that's obviously the WPT500 going on right now. Pads, how are you getting on in that today? Or have I just still in?
I've got 200k. In the free roll or the 500?
The 500.
Oh, I just busted that. I just busted.
When I asked, I was like, I'm always cautious about asking. There you go. I didn't know. I timed it. It's just giving the rub down, guys. He's just busted out, but hey,
yeah, I'm chill. I made an aggressive play. Yeah.
A lot of chances to get in, Pads, and of course we've got other stuff coming up on Party as well in terms of big events. The Irish Open just around the corner, Pads. So I know you'll be looking forward to that one.
Love the Irish Open. It always gets really good fields. Yeah, it's funny. People have a lot of loyalty to the brand, even if it's online.
Right.
Like the Irish guys show up, which is quite. I always find that fun. And yeah, it's a 1 million main event, right? 1K 1 million, which is pretty huge.
1K 1 million.
Yeah.
You can get in. The satellites start at just €1. I mean,
crazy.
It's I think every Sunday, Patrick, I'm going to say the final satellite has 30 seats. So every single Sunday, there's a satellite with 30 seats. It's good for people like me, Pads, who don't like I get scared when there's only like 3 seats or something, and I'm sitting there and I've got to play shorthand. I don't know what's going on. 30 seats just feels like a breeze. Like someone on another table is going to do something stupid. I'm going to get in. That's that's how I see it. Like,
I'm just looking now that in 11 days' time, there's a satellite, and there's already 113 people registered into that satellite. That just shows that's crazy.
Right. Feeder satellites building in. Big part of what's going on in Party with these big fine events.
Oh no, sorry. There's 113 people already satellited into the main event.
Oh,
which is which is pretty crazy. 113. That's wild. Yeah.
Let's go look through the
I
tab
know
now.
I always sound biased with Party, but genuinely the satellites for these big events just make them like such good events.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. This is always the feel, and like you say, I mean, people we know we're selling. It's the Irish Open online. We know it's not it's not the same as the Irish Open. I mean, for all intents and purposes, it is another tournament on Party. But as Patrick says, it's not, because you do get those players who would play the Irish Open. They're proud of it. They want to play in the Irish Open online. So you get that kind of field. When we have 100%. WPT Montreal online, you get loads more Canadians in the field than you usually would, because it's part of it. Like, everyone's just making the best of it this year, and that's how these events roll out. So it will have a similar feel. I know, Pads, I'm going to be sitting there. I'm going to play some of the satellites to get in the mix. I'm going to be sitting there drinking a few Guinness, pretending like I was in Dublin.
That's
causing a bit of trouble.
I've never drank Guinness before, I don't think.
Wow. Okay.
Maybe you've been to Temple Bar in Dublin, right?
Yeah.
It's good. It's probably my favorite. Well, I guess it's probably most people's favorite bar in the world, I guess, because it's so good,
Yeah, such a lively place. Not at the moment, but soon. And yeah, I feel bad for the Irish Open fans, Pads, because they're coming up to their second non-event, as it were. They're kind of just at the wrong time of the year. The Irish Open. Hopefully, not too long, we'll be back for events like that in real life. WPT is starting to get going. And in Europe, hope to get some events soon. But for now, Irish Open Online, WPT500's online. These are fantastic events as well, as you see. Playing for 181k here for a $500 buy-in, and as Patrick says, loads of satellite qualifiers in there, loads of ways for you guys to get involved for cheap, which is what we like to see. Check back from Lucas against the limp with 9-4 offsuit. Flops trips. All right. Here we go.
Interesting
Andre
he went
with
for a
the
limp with this game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Lucas checks. Maybe he thinks it's like too strong to bet. Like it's too obvious he has a 4 when he bets or something. Let him catch up. Goes to the bet.
Well, going perfect for what he's against, right, Pads? With the being up against the nut-no pair. You can see better and better.
His hand,
I mean,
yeah,
kind of works.
The 9's
but,
actually bad. Yeah, he would rather it was like a queen or a king or an ace or something. Yeah, even a 10. But when he blocks the turned pair, it's quite a problem.
Right.
Maybe he finds a check somehow against and lets like 6-7 bluff the river. You know, let aces value bet the river, then you can get a raise in. This is a very, very big bet. It feels like it's too big, but maybe Andrew just calls him down. Who knows? No. It seems very large bet. I think you can still value bet wider than a 4. You know, like you can bet a 3 as well for value still. You don't necessarily need to go for pot.
Guys, we did the giveaway for those 10 $11 tickets. Did the draw on the break, and I can tell you that the winners of those tickets. Now, if you hear your name, you haven't got to do anything. Someone will contact you through Twitch. And if you've got a Real Money Party Poker account, then you get a ticket. If you haven't got a Real Money Party Poker account, then you better make one quick. They are Astorwin, Mike Trike 10, Star Ladder Promo, Sabotage 888, Yuri 91, Bangkok 2010, Matt X37, Marcio Landia, Jake Bryant Poker, and Tiger GMB. Those are the 10 winners. I'm going to throw the names in the chat so you can see them in text because, hey, it might be a little easier. Congratulations if you're one of those 10, and best of luck with your ticket. See Sabotage 888 in the chat. Love and life. Congrats. Congrats to all of you. I recognize a couple of those names as well. I have to confess. Tiger GMB I've definitely seen lurking about before as well. So if you're online with us right now, congrats to you as well. Blinds going up. Pads, but only a little bit. 4 mil, 8 mil. Still plenty of play for Lucas as the shortest stack.
100%. There feels like there's dynamics going with all the guys. Like Andrew and Lucas have a dynamic. Dylan and Lucas have a dynamic for sure. And Dylan and Andrew also have a dynamic. Like a lot of aggressive dynamics. So it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Will Lucas want to make a big fold again against Dylan after he's seen him bluff once? You know, often people don't like to fold the next time. So.
All right. Jake Bryant Poker in the chat. One of the winners. $11 ticket. All you got to do is have that Real Money Party Poker account. And of course, if you do have a Real Money Party Poker account, why don't you head on over to Party right now and play the free roll. Pads is clicking away. He's firing some bullets, guys. He's available. Take him down. $20 ticket if you knock him out. $500 ticket for the winner of the free roll. And $500 in cash. And I see, well, I can't even say that name, but you're not too late to the party because you can win next hour's giveaway. All you have to do is click follow right here on this Twitch channel and you'll be entered into that draw.
Andrew going for a bet with the bottom pair. Often a hand you would, you know, maybe check call.
Oh,
Turns
Lucas.
get a bit dicey.
Yeah, it's a pretty bad card, isn't it? Like, there are not many hands you can beat now. There weren't many you could beat to start with. There's a lot fewer now.
Queen 8, Queen 9 are like 2 1s, yeah. I think Lucas maybe goes for a value bet here, not expecting to get check raised on the turn, get some value against some hands. Yeah, I like it. People often check here, but I think it's good to value bet. I like it.
Yeah, and I guess ace queen in the small. Sees a raise on the button.
Guess he's going to just shove. Yeah. Easy fold, Andrew. There's a little trick there in that spot. Can you work out what the trick is there, James? When he does that half stack thing he's done a few times.
Yeah, I mean it's just dream, isn't it? Just in case Dylan goes all in, just in case Andre calls.
There's
then...
one more advanced trick, like
oh, okay.
On top,
so that Dylan
on top of that.
Sorry, so that Dylan can't flat. Dylan flats in between, then.
No, something else.
No, wait,
one more thing.
What am I missing here?
And
go on.
So if you put in, let's say, 40% of your stack, and let's say Andre snap goes all in like in a second, probably he has aces, kings, queens, jacks, and you can still, let's say you have king 10 suited, for example, like a marginal hand, which does okay when Andre like tank calls. When Andre snap goes all in, he always has like ace, king, queens, kings, aces. You can still get away if you've put in 30-40% of your stack, you know, because you don't have the right equity to call off for the rest of the 60%, you know, which people so like if Lucas what did Lucas shove there? He had ace queen. So with ace queen, you always call off regardless. But like, let's say he has, you know, ace 9 offsuit, you know, like making like a marginal-ish shove for like, but only puts in 30% of his stack. You can't just call off the rest of the 70% of your stack when the guy's range is like jacks plus ace king. So you can get like maybe like a little bit of a time and tell there from the buttons strategy. Do you know what I mean?
You're giving someone an opportunity to make a mistake in regards to like a timing tell. That's what you're saying. You're giving them a chance.
Well, most people in Andrew's spot just think, okay, well, he's committed, he's calling off regardless. If I have aces, I'm just going to instantly shove. They don't take the 10 seconds like they would maybe do with, let's say, pocket sixes. Do you know what I mean? Or pocket sevens, or king queen suited, or whatever it may be, because they think, oh well, he's putting half of his stack or 40% stack. He's not going to fold. Like he's committing. He's waiting to see if two people go all in. Whereas in reality, you can actually maybe level a little bit there.
Extra edges, Pat. Extra edges. You're always looking for them. You're always looking for a little way.
If someone tells you they have aces and you have ace 9,
right?
You know, like especially when it's a big shove. Like imagine it's 40 big blinds and you've put in like 15, and then they just instantly shove 40. Then it really is, you know, like queens, kings, aces kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, all makes a lot of sense. It just feels dirty there, Pads. You're just trying to make me fold even more hands. Like just trying to get me out of these things.
If you're against me, it's good to instantly 4-bet shove, because maybe I find a fold, then you can show me your ace.
Guys, there we go. When Pad's 3-bets, he just snap jam, even when it looks like he's definitely going to call.
Yeah. I'm spinning it up in this free roll, by the way. I got 400.
Okay, what are we up to? Wow. 400.
Right,
he is spinning it up.
Yeah. My table is full of savages too.
It's hard to knock. It's one good thing if you've got bounty in your head, Pads, but it's quite hard to knock you out if you've got 400k. Like,
yeah, good. These guys don't. I'm not taking that into consideration.
Well, they're making the decision to try and knock you down a size to start with, and then they can.
Yeah, like team effort. One guy's.
With the second punch. I just moved table. I was hoping I might pop onto your table, but look at this. Andre stabs with the king of spades. Lucas just loving life with the flush. Now, is Andre going to fire again, Pads? That's the question. Lucas desperate to see it.
Yeah, I think it makes sense too. I don't think he has any show. Well, yeah, he doesn't have any showdown value. Interesting if Lucas just shoves or small raise. I think he'll go for the shove here. Andrew's kind of representing like really strong hands though, but yeah, sure. Like if Andrew has like say 9-8 and faces a shove, like it's gonna be tough to call 9-8 or like queen 9 or queen 8. He's gonna have a lot of flushes, you know, like 8x of spades, king 10 of spades, king jack of spades, king 2 of spades. So well, king 3 of spades, king 4 of spades. So yeah, let's go for the shove.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell does he have? By the way, I'm third in chips. I'm third in chips in the free roll now. FYI, I'm gonna win this tournament.
Third in chips. There he is, guys. 600k. This is ludicrous.
Yeah, people are coming for this bounty, but they're not going to get it. I'm going for the win. Is it a hyper? What's the structure? It's quite slow
7
structure.
minutes.
5 minutes,
5
yeah.
minutes.
Don't really see how I don't win this tournament from this point, but let's see.
Wow, guys, he's calling it. There are 1,477 players left in, and Pads is calling it on on level 7. You got to give him some.
I fancy my chances here.
SRM asking, what was the blind for this? 500. Yes, it was 500, and there were 2,400 plus entries. We're down to the final 3, and very worthy 3 from what we see on this final table. Dylan, Andre, and Lucas. As they battle it out for 181k for the winner. They've locked up 84k for that $500 investment.
And for people who are the purists of poker who don't enjoy deals and stuff like this, I would say there's 0% chance this tournament ever deals with the players who are left. I think Andrew from playing proves with him, he's not the kind of guy who deals. So, yeah.
All right.
Would imagine they're going to play it out.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been passing information at a deal yet. If there is a deal, I will find out. So just, it does make sense, Bads. You're right that kind of, if there would be one, it might be sort of around about now when Lucas has got a few chips together.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no word yet. But of course, if there is one, we'll let you guys know. And yeah, SRM asking the min cash. Yeah, it's usually around there, 1.5 times the buy-in. I'm not sure what it was in this event. I don't want to open up the lobby because then I'll find out what's going on. Because of course we're on a 30-minute delay, given that we're showing cards up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dylan from the small flops a 3 on his queen 7-3.
Yep. Guessing checks. Just nice hand to slow play.
Yeah, really these. Oh, it does better. This dynamic's changed a little bit since Andre's taken a couple of knocks against Lucas. Suddenly, Dylan, the chip leader, and he even gets a bet call on this flop with that king 3.
Big game next week, right? Brighton, Newcastle, 6-pointer.
It is the big game.
Next Friday,
next on Saturday. Saturday night, yeah.
Oh, it's this Saturday.
Yeah, this Saturday coming up.
It's this game week. Okay, it's sick.
Yeah, the big one.
Sick.
The day you get confirmed you're going down, Pads.
Well, I looked at your next fixtures. I think you play like you've got really tough fixtures after this one, so you really need to win this game.
Yeah,
I think.
We've got some good. We've got like Sheffield United. We've got Sheffield United. We've got Leeds. But we've also got Man City, Arsenal.
Man U, Everton, Chelsea are your next 3 games after Newcastle. So you need to beat Newcastle, otherwise it's not looking great.
Well, we need to not lose. Losing is the only bad result, I think. So we've got Sheffield United to come. We've got Leeds to come.
Newcastle have Sheffield United too. We have Fulham last game of the season too.
Oh, that's a big one. That could be a. Oh, hello. Nice little value raise on the end.
I like it a lot. Yeah. Dylan, go for the free bet all in.
Pat, you're just sicko, aren't you? You love to see it. You're just like calling the 3-bet all in bluff on the river and there's nothing pot. This is the sicko that he is, guys.
200 million. Punish him for value raising. I think Dylan's a sicko. I'm telling you, these people with triple barrel names, they find the triple bluff on the river. Disappointing.
Triple barrel names. The lone assassins gives it up. But yeah, so that's a huge game you guys got last game of the season potentially. Then Fulham. Yeah, I think Fulham are good. Like, I think Brighton are good too. Like, honestly, I love how Brighton and Fulham play. I think both are like good teams. Just both need a striker. If you guys had Callum Wilson, you'd be flying. Yeah. I think like he's such a big difference. Couldn't agree with you more. Well, hang on. I'm playing a pot here in the free roll with the player over 1 million chips pads. It puts your 600k to shame.
What, Ilya Potapov?
Yeah.
My
Ilya
nemesis.
Potapov is winning this pot.
Big bet. I just got you up as well.
There we go, chat. Who is going to survive, Newcastle or Fulham?
I mean, I don't care if Newcastle get relegated. Like, it's not fun finishing 17th every year. That's for sure.
I think what you want is them to stay up and then realise that there needs to be some change.
I mean, the goal for the club is to always finish 17th. So if they finish 17th, he's like kind of fixed his remit, you know.
Dylan flopping the joint, but not getting action.
Sneaky check back maybe from Ace4, potentially.
He's gone so hard against Lucas, hasn't he?
Yeah, it's just so easy to miss though, you know, like 9-8 of hearts or whatever.
And I guess, Paz, you don't really want to give them any excuse to fold, just like the 7 of spades either do, so it's nice to check back perhaps. And
especially when they're going to fold the turn anyway. Like, if you bet the flop and they call and the turn's a brick and you bet, they're going to fold the 7 of spades on the turn. So maybe it's nice to let them maybe bluff into you on the turn, and then maybe they bluff the river, or maybe they improve on the river, then you can get like a big bet in or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's never bad to bet a flush, like...
Yeah, especially like you say, you know, there's some dynamic built between these guys. There's some matchups, and certainly Lucas and Dylan have had some pretty interesting hands already. And all of them have been Dylan just barreling away and Lucas having to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, SRM saying if you don't bet there, you never have any flushes either. But that's not true, because we're not saying to always do one thing or always do the other. Pat's just saying we can just sometimes check back and probably most of the time bet, but sometimes check back.
you can also bet all your other flushes and just check the ace-high flushes too sometimes. Because you don't mind if a spade comes off when you have the ace of spades, but when you have like 9-6 of spades, you don't want an ace to come off kind of thing.
Another little one heading Dylan's way at showdown.
There's not much free bet and non-all-in going on the whole final table. I'm not sure if we've seen a single free bet bluff in the whole final table pre-flop, like non-all-in. Can you remember one? I don't think so.
I'm racking my mind now, trying to think. Yeah, I think you might be right, Pads.
Quite interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of one. I mean, part of that, though, was that we just saw carnage every hand. I mean,
yeah,
we had a lot of short stacks and then a lot of hands clashing. Ah, there we go. Yep, Stoic in the chat. Of course, we saw the big bet, the big blind 3 bets. We saw 2 of them. We saw 10-5. We saw the one from Pedro as well that got jammed on. Well,
yeah,
the first 3 bet of the final got ripped on.
One from
some of that.
One from Davidus and one from Pedro. That's right. Shout out to who realized that.
Stoic 12. Good.
Stoic 12. Nice.
Good gunning.
Good observation. Yeah. Good observation.
Yeah. And it was a great one because it was so unexpected to us, Patrick. We didn't think at that point Davidus was going to do stuff like that from what we'd seen.
100%.
Took advantage of the image and went for it. All right. Lucas doesn't get paid off, but look at this. Getting very close to Andre's stack now.
Yeah, this is now getting really intriguing in terms of stack sizes. This King Jack is interesting. This is one which could free bet non-all-in. 55 million. Okay, again, going for the call. Like, it's quite nice when you free bet King Jack, make them fold ace-5 off. It's okay. Make them fold some suited hands. Make the big blind folds. Guess we're going to see this. Oh, you see a check from the ace-5.
A little change of tact here. Checking back top pair. Turns a gut shot to go with it.
there's no incentive for King Jack to bluff. That's kind of the problem with checking ace on the flop, is that Lucas usually has like King Queens, King Jacks, King Tens, and they're more likely to call a flop bet than they are to bluff on the turn. Like, there's just not many turns where King Queen starts bluffing on, but King Queen's always going to call the flop, so...
Double check back.
Yeah. Again, I'm not sure what he's trying to induce action against, because on the turn, like 9-8 will start bluffing the turn, I guess, so... It's
Right.
kind of an interesting one, I think.
And that, how's Lucas is life when he faces a bet here, given all that? Does he just kind of... Does he just think, oh, I'm up against... Well, I don't know what he thinks.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Andrew's representing like pocket eights to pocket kings, and more specifically kings,
Right.
queens, and jacks, because eights are more likely to bet for protection. So when you have king jack, you block jacks and kings, which are like two hands he's representing. So yeah, nice from Andrew getting the bet out there.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, what's he bluffing? You know, like, it's tough to find a bluff there, because he's just going to bluff the flop very often if he has a bluff, you know. So yeah.
Right. And a pot that Andre really needed. Take a little chunk back out of Lucas, separate them. Goes up to nearly 2-1 lead over him as Lucas pops up the button with 10-9 offsuit, dealing with threes in the small. Andre with Queen Jack suited in the big blind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get really excited, Pads. I moved table again, but I didn't get moved to your table in the free roll. I was hopeful. All right, he does flat from the small. Andre going to get to complete this from the big if he wishes.
Or shove, maybe. What's a big blind? 8, so it's
Right.
like 50 big blinds. Not a bad hand to shove. Suited hand. Like, what's Dylan gonna... Wow, he free bets none all in, which is... This is usually something you don't see. You see either shoves or checks. So this is interesting. It's interesting squeeze here. I guess freeze is gonna fold. Probably.
Does. Yeah, pick up. Again. Andre just getting back towards that $500 million mark. Where he wants to be. He wants to be playing Dylan heads up right now, isn't he? They'd both like to see Lucas go out. They don't mind who knocks him out. They want to be playing heads up. Guaranteed 6 figures if you get that far. 84k locked up now, of course. Andre popping up 10-9. Lucas with 2 7s. What, 26 blinds?
King Queen's a strong hand too. I mean, I guess 7s is all in, and then King Queen. Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, near enough.
He's been doing this a lot, by the way. Like, I think it's just like 3rd time small blind against button. He's free betting on, like, he's gone all in essentially. So Andrew's definitely going to be a little bit paranoid that he's going after his raises or something.
Right, even though we've seen they've all been legitimate, right?
Yeah, I mean, this might be a similar situation where Lucas raises, Dylan flat calls, and then maybe Andrew squeezes, like a pretty good hand to squeeze again. This is the exact same thing which happened last time. Dylan had pocket threes, now he has pocket fours. Andrew has 2 high cards. Lucas has a hand he has to fold on the button versus a squeeze. This will be interesting if you squeeze again. Sometimes when you squeeze the second time, it looks strong because it looks a bit too ballsy to do it twice, you know? But he just calls.
Let's just peel. The fours look best still on this Jack 6 deuce. Couple of clubs flop as well. There's the 1 club in the hand.
You might see a c-bet from Lucas. Like, I know he doesn't have anything, but the deuce is quite good. Like, neither player should have a deuce. Neither player probably has much 6x hands, so not a bad flop to just bet very often on.
Well, Dylan now picks up a straight flush draw with his 2 4s.
Yeah, I guess he plays passive on the turn, yeah.
With everything. Well, as this hand goes down, a little shout out to Maddie Staples sending in the raiding party. Welcome all of you joining us from Matty's stream. Joining myself and Patrick Leonard as we call the action on what is now a relatively deep stacked 3-handed match in this WPT 500 final table. We're guaranteed 84k. We're playing for a first prize of 181. And it's been nothing but excitement this evening. We've raced down to the final 3. And maybe a little war of attrition beginning to take hold here as Dylan holds a slender of leads.
Yeah.
And this one's taking a while to check down, but are we going to check down? Or is Lucas going to take one little stab at it on the end?
No, I think this hand was played too passively. I think betting the flop would have been the right play. He may even get pocket fours to fold on the flop with the guy to act after him. You know, it's like not like he has a massive draw or anything. I'm just tweeting out that people can come and join the stream.
They should come and join the stream. They should come and join the free roll. That's something I want to tell the Staples followers all about. It's going off right now on Party, the WPT 500 free roll. You can still get in. There's 15 minutes left of late reg. No, I'm lying. There's 12 minutes left of late reg. Please head on over to Party Poker. Give it a spin. It's called WPT 500 free roll. The password is J Dempsey. Get in the mix. We're giving away a WPT 500 seat. We're giving away tickets if you knock pads out. We're giving away some cold hard cash. All worth having a look at. And it's easier, right, pads? I mean, how many chips have you got now? 600k? Boom. Killing it.
600, 650, yeah. 11 live. Just tweeted out that people can come and join us too. Like James just said, 15 minutes left of late reg.
And if you are just joining us, click the follow button because on the next break, we will be doing another giveaway, giving away 10 of those $11 tickets.
Yeah.
All you have to do is click follow and you have a chance of winning one of them pads. It's easy as that. It's just free. Twitch, follow, job done. And with $11 ticket, can turn my $11 ticket into something real nice. I reckon Irish Open main event seat. And then who knows what happens from there.
I have some interesting information. I was tweeting out the free roll link and I just checked my messages and Brandon Adams messaged me and it says, "Hey pads, I'm the Brandon Adams. Wish I was as smart as the Brandon Adams you think I am. Also wish not to be too outed in that spot." Where he had aces against 10. So it wasn't actually the Brandon Adams that we thought it actually was. It was a different Brandon Adams, which is quite interesting for the stream for the players because I assume the players assumed they were playing against Brandon Adams. Like I was saying to you, this Brandon Adams, he's crazy, he's aggressive, and then in reality, it was a different Brandon Adams. So that's definitely very interesting.
Yeah, that's funny. You're playing a real money, a real name, pardon me, tournament, and you've got a name of a famous poker player. Yeah, that comes with some weird dynamics.
100%, yeah.
That's funny, man. He's probably went for. He's probably got through the whole table going, why does everyone keep going crazy against me? Why does everyone think I'm bluffing? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Brandon Adams.
He's had like 12 double ups in the tournament, getting called off all the time. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Dylan and Andre play another one out to the river where Dylan has ace high.
Yeah, this one check on the turn. You could maybe bet like 10% on the river, just smidge of value. But
gets over the 600 milli mark. First one there. That is half the chips in play.
Lucas has been very aggressive on the button, hasn't he? He seems to raise every button, even with like bad hands like 9-8. Very interesting.
But like you say, Pat, we haven't seen the normal in 3-bets, so
they're not going after him. Yeah, they're just flat calling it. Well, we saw Andrew actually 3-bet Queen Jack two orbits ago. Maybe Andrew picked up on the fact that Lucas is opening very wide or something like this. And now we see a 3-bet from Jack 10. Yeah, they've had enough of it.
They have had enough of it. Line is drawn. We're going to war, boys. Yes, Dang in the chat asking, do you have to link your accounts for the $11 tickets? Nope. What you have to do is click follow. We will contact you, and then we will do the nitty gritty of getting it added to your Party Poker account. But of course, you will need a real money Party Poker account to win one of those tickets. So click follow, create an account if you don't already have one, and you'll be in with a chance of winning.
Someone in the chat box is asking, is 8-9 off really that bad free-handed? I think this is like a misconception that the industry kind of has, is that when you get free-handed, you have to play more aggressively. But like, you're on the button raising into two people. It's the same as if you're playing 9-handed, 12-handed, 6-handed, whatever. You know, you're against two players, and there's less ante, so
right?
you win less money.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Exactly.
should play tighter, really, than you would play normally on the button.
Yeah. Exactly.
But that's a good point there. You're right, because I think that's people do make that misconception of I've got to play all these hands here from the button because there's only 3 of us. But...
Or even in 6-max, like you sometimes see 6-max tournaments online and everyone just goes bananas because it's 6-max. Where in reality in 6-max you have to play slightly tighter than you would do in a 8-handed tournament, you know?
All right. Andre popping up Ace Jack. Dylan's going to defend this big blind with 5-6 suited. I was getting excited, Pads. I had the aces in the free roll. Didn't get a single call.
Oh, wow.
Just the raise and take, huh?
I'm all in. I'm currently all in a big pot.
Ooh.
And someone just threw I just got slow rolled from top set. I had a set over set. I'd pocket 5s on ace 8-5 against pocket aces, and aces slow rolled me. Vlad Kondrin.
You've got to appreciate the slow roll. You've got to be loving it.
I'm not sure I do.
The slow roll. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the free roll slow roll. Yeah, you've got 400k left. What's he worried about, guys? I'm just saying, while I'm making a point, slightly maybe kind of whether we kind of include card removal when we're talking about raising button on a full table versus 3-handed. I mean, what kind of difference does that make, Patrick?
Yeah, like people fold in like aces beforehand or whatever. Yeah, like it will make a small difference too. Yeah, it's more when it goes from like 4-handed to 3-handed. It's like, okay, now we're 3-handed, we have to play really aggressively. But the card removal from being 4-handed to 3-handed won't be very big. You know, like,
right?
That's going to be very small. When you go from say 12-handed to 3-handed, it would be very big. But it's not like, okay, now we're down to the final 3, we need to play aggressive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I see people still in the chat asking for the password. The password's top of the screen there. It is J Dempsey. Head on over to party. Click Reg. You've only got a few minutes left. We are heading towards a break. We're going to give away 10 more tickets on that break as well. So click follow if you haven't already done so. Otherwise, you can't win. Simple as that. We're giving free rolls. We're giving tickets. But you've got to do a little bit of work, guys. You've got to click a couple of buttons just to get in the mix. Lucas from the big flopping top pair gut shot against Dylan with, well, some work with the 8 pads, some work, but
probably a bet on the flop.
About.
Make queen 10 fold, make queen 9 fold, make queen jack fold. A lot of stuff you can do there.
Wow. Check back, hit a queen. Here we go. Let's give another tough spot here for Lucas. We saw it with the Jack 4 earlier from Dylan. We saw it when he had aces. We saw it when he bluffed. He's got it right every time so far, Dylan. Poor Lucas has been on the wrong side of it all. And surely he's going to lose some more chips here.
Dylan uses large bets as well, we've seen. Oh, he checks again.
Wow.
That's very surprising turn check. And I think 7-6 might value bet the river. Like, feels like 7 is the best hand. You can beat a 5, you can beat a 3, you can beat ace high. There shouldn't be much 10x or flush draws in Dylan's range. And now Dylan obviously has to value bet. 2/3 maybe.
Once more, Lucas is just in a pretty grim spot. Where he's got what should be a pretty good hand. And yeah, bets 32 mil, gets looked up. Lucas down to 100 mil. Dylan up to just under 700. As myself and Patrick are heading off on another break. Please don't go far, guys. Click follow. Get in that free roll. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Like, what a tilt is this guy, innit? Just wants to get every little angle of money. Such an angler. It's pathetic, actually. You think I'd do that at like 35 years old, just trying to angle people like that?
I guess you're saying the right thing now for me to do it.
Well, whatever, I'm not going to fold anyway. We'll see, yeah. You're not going to bet into two of us anyway. You think I'm praying I'll smash anyone heads up anyway? It don't matter if I come fifth. Don't matter if I get knocked out now. You think that king hits you? You think I believe in a million years that you could hit the king now and have two pair? All right, big man, go on. Do your little angle bet.
Really?
I bet.
You really did. You really checked.
I just checked, yeah.
Wow.
So do your bet.
Put me in a bad spot now.
Do your bet. You'll see how I will go all in so quickly if you bet.
You would. To give your word to the camera.
Go on then, do your bet. Are you slow rolling us all for?
Fine game.
So sick I flopped a set. Or a king eye flush draw.
It's not binding.
I just feel to push just because he's such a tilters.
123,000.
Is it binding or what is?
No.
So sick that you got a king high flush draw, innit? What a joke. Joke. You know what? Yeah, I'm so confident in my heads up game. It. Do me then, whatever, innit?
At least you put your money where your mouth was.
Yeah, whatever. Nice level. Yeah, and what then?
Oh my god.
Look, I've got two jacks here. You don't think I mess about? My heads up game, I'll beat everyone in this whole party poker. It don't matter if I come there. It don't matter. Look at this. I'm sitting out for 5 hours. In your eye, David Benjamin, you arrogant guy.
And the only thing that chance he had of not going to the final was if he got knocked out first. This was his first hand
literally
back.
do that. Like,
He
just go
picks
all in
up
right
the
now,
aces.
and you're screwed, right?
Look at the granny and making sure he understands before he makes a play.
You're joking.
Oh my god. It was like, yeah, it was just so ridiculous.
But I can still lose and myself.
I wouldn't be so happy if I were you.
I can now fold out. When I win this,
How do you do that?
I don't know, but I don't want to see space.
He just folded. He didn't even show up. He showed up and got ace on the button. And I pick up an ace in the big blind.
This is whoever
Wow, that's hard to do.
It was really, it's really sick. I mean,
Daniel Slicks just murdered his stack.
and by the way, Roland's trying to look serious wearing a Darth Vader outfit. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I saw him rocking Darth
I
Vader.
have an ace. He just showed up and played one hand, and it happened to be aces on the button.
You want a flush?
Nice. Would you have moved in? Would you have moved in with like queen 10, right? You would have. I don't know what I would. I think it's a lot safer with an ace because he can't have aces when I have an ace. But he has aces.
Yeah. No, not kings or queens. He's got an ace.
I actually wouldn't have done it if I didn't have an ace. 'Cause I just wanted to make sure you don't have aces. And of course, if I have an ace, you cannot have aces.
That's true because
he might call his king.
It's pretty funny. The Premier League does this to people, doesn't it? You see some of the most outrageous plays ever.
Thing is creepy.
He did really talk him through it, Daniel. You do know you have to fold every hand.
Yeah, before he did it.
It was so silly.
Jack one time. I'll take a chop.
How about Jack Hearts? Jack Hearts.
Jack Hearts.
Luke will take a chop. Can't lose.
It's fun, man.
Come on. He's in the final. And he's in the final. And he's in the final.
All right, count his money.
It was top moment there.
Now he's got left the table.
Yeah.
And makes the final and leaves.
King, queen, king.
Welcome back, everybody, to this, the WPT 500 final table. myself and Patrick calling the action. We're down to 3, so let's just jump right back into it because, hey, we don't want to miss a hand. Whilst we do, though, guys, head on over to the free roll. You've still got a few minutes to reg. I think a couple of minutes later reg, 5 minutes later reg, because you've got the break to reg 3, so please do head on over there to get in the mix. I felt like we're going to get back to it, Pads. Here we go. All right. And it looks like blinds are going up as well. 5 mil, 10 mil, did I see there? Yes, so Lucas down to just 10 blinds on the button with an ace. Well, we know what's happening here.
Yeah. 700 million for Dylan. This could be a deep stack heads up. If I remember correctly, I think Andre actually plays heads up as well.
Right, okay.
Heads up sit and goes. That's what I believe. I believe so, at least.
Be liking his chances then.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we'll give the ticket giveaways winners in a few minutes when I get them. But for now, last chance to get in that free roll. Head over to party. The password is J Dempsey. Get in the mix. We're giving away WPT500 seat. We're giving away 500 in cash. Giving away tickets if you knock out pads. It's tough to get him though. He's got a lot of chips and he's not bad at poker. This guy.
I've been getting legs chopped down so far. We're down to 250k from the 600. So.
Yikes.
Yikes indeed.
Dylan, I'm just stabbing here with the king high, but Lucas with what, a gut shot, a heart.
Yeah, I think he'll call is my read, but maybe he shoves. But it feels like a hand you call with. Okay, he's going for a raise fold, which is quite surprising, you know. I guess I don't think he's raise calling at least. So that's interesting.
No. Oh, gets it through anyway. Gets back to 15
He's gonna
blind.
get a shove. He's gonna be able to shove here again, so he's gonna get back up to around 20ish.
All right, guys, we've done the draw for those tickets, and I can tell you that. Well, I'll do 5 at a time, guys. 5 at a time to try not to miss too much of the action going on. But it is Chevy DJ, Donkeyfish 99, Orex 88, Poker George, and Plow 1993. If you heard your name, you've just won a $11 ticket. I'll put the names in the chat as well so you guys can read them. And I'll do the other 5 in a minute. As Lucas goes for a limp. Little change there, Pads. There you go.
Yeah, kind of surprising he didn't shove. But yeah, interesting. Good flop for him. I guess he's going to bet. We've seen a lot of like passive play, I would say. You know, lots of check-in, and I assume he's going to bet here, though. Yeah. 5-4, going to fold for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, the other tickets given away, same thing, $11 tickets for you, 5 coming up, but Meshuggah Catch 33, that's one player. Jacob LFC 2000, Jason D Rock, Black Anu 7 Matter, K12 G for you. You 5 have also won an $11 ticket. You see your name in the chat there. Congratulations. As I say, if you've been one of those lucky winners I've just mentioned, the 10 of you, then you don't have to do anything. Someone will be in touch, but you do have to have a real money party poker account. So if you haven't got one already, go ahead and make one. Otherwise, you can't receive those tickets. Simple as that. Some good name. Meshuggah Catch 33. That's a hell of a name, Pads.
Yeah.
I don't know where they come from. But. Name doesn't even, says I wanted to win. Maybe next time, indeed. Maybe next time. We're going to keep doing this, guys. Got WPT500 Knockout Edition coming up next week. And we've got some other events on the horizon, the Irish Open being the most notable one. But as long as you guys keep watching, we will keep giving away money. Simple as that. Isn't that nice? It's a fun job. You should get to give out money pads.
Yeah, it's like Santa Claus.
Yeah. I'm just missing the hair. The beard. Lucas committing with 2 3s on the button.
I assume Dylan's going to raise. He's been playing somewhat tight-ish, I would say. He's not been going like Larry, let's say, with his big stack. Playing good. Good solid, I would say.
Yeah.
All these players left are like quite solid, I would say. No one's doing anything too wild, too wacky. A lot of
I agree with that.
He checked the turn with the queen before. Do you know what I mean? Like quite passive rather than aggressive.
Yeah, there've been there was some weird ones, weren't there? Yeah, Dylan checking that queen was a little surprising, but certainly things have settled down 3-handed anyway. Q Legion saying, "Where's Henry?" Unfortunately, guys, Henry couldn't make it this evening. He knew he couldn't make it. He was busy this week, so he couldn't make it. But you know, we got pads. We'll struggle on by. We got one of the best. Patrick been here since the start, but yeah, nothing untowards, guys. Henry will return, much like James Bond. Just give it a little time. But his man Stoyan was on the final table. He weren't with us from the start. One of Henry's oldest friends made the final table of this tournament. He was gutted to have somehow decided to skip the one event where his buddy's on the final, but unfortunately for Stoyan, he fell foul of that massive hand pads. Dylan won, of course, or won the side pot of. We saw Ace King versus Kings versus Queens very early on. It got Dylan really going, sent Stoyan to the rail.
That's the kind of hand which hurts you for a lifetime. You know, like the flashbacks of that hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a brutal one. You're just thinking, right, I'm going to win. I'm going to have, 400 million chips here with 7 left, 6 left. And be the big favourite instead, out in 7th. And you're like, wow, did that really happen? They just dealt me the butchers. They dealt me out.
Sometimes the dangerous thing, one of the most dangerous things in poker is in final tables is being dealt a really good hand. You know, like you have to commit.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like I guess
you obviously want it. You obviously make money by having those hands, but your variance just goes through the roof, doesn't it? When you force phase hands, variance just comes and bites
how much
you
equity
when you want it. But
he has like 60%, I guess, against Ace King and Queens or something.
Yeah.
So like,
right.
well, a bit. Yeah, it's like 40% of the time there's heartbreak, which is like a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
that's a lot.
I mean, admittedly, if he lost to the Queens, it wasn't a disaster. He just had to make sure he held against the Ace King. That was the.
Yeah.
It was like sure. The bonus is beating Queens, but would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, if you heard me say your name and you won one of these tickets, just chill. Someone will be in contact. They'll find you. We'll hunt you down.
Oh, so Kings has 50% equity against aces and against Ace King and Queens, or like 53% equity, which is pretty sick. Like 50% of the time, bad things happen. It's like it's pretty messed up, really. I think.
Is still he just had to. I mean, he makes profit if
Oh
at.
yeah,
It's a
yeah,
lovely
of course.
spot to be in.
I just mean, you know, like half the time, very bad stuff still happens. Like,
Right.
In that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the upside is ginormous though. You get 400 million with 6 left.
Yeah. By the way, I have 950k in the free roll.
Don't call it a comeback, boys. Pads is on the march.
Don't call it a comeback. Don't call it a comeback. I posted on Twitter that I was going to win the tournament.
Oh, hello. Well, I'm not going to slow roll someone, but they just jammed him when I got aces, which is always nice. Andre limping ace deuce here. Dylan in the big blind with queens. Obviously, you're going to pop it up. We may see kind of the first like decent sized pot develop between these two, depending on. Oh,
folds. Yeah, I mean, I guess he just thinks it's strong that this guy's just tied to not going after him, kind of thing.
Wow, I'm surprised. And now Dylan gets the aces.
I hope he raises. I really hope he raises because everyone's playing so passive, not isolating so much. I think it's good to raise yourself. Like 4x, 3.5x. Yeah, this is very good. Dylan, I think, has played pretty good. Like,
yeah.
Like a little bit
very much so.
Splash. Yeah. Unpredictable. Not completely like a robot, but like good, like smart, I think.
Yeah, and even going back to the start pads, we saw the folded ace 10 offsuit early on, where you said could go for a 3-bet, and then the adjustment to when Dylan got more chips, playing a lot more aggressively, he's taken a lot of spots since then. I'm with you. I think he played very well.
I don't think Andrew can fold.
Yeah,
I don't think he can. I think the sizing's really good on this board texture. Oh, he folds. Interesting.
Right.
Yeah, big. That's a pretty big fold. It's a pretty big fold, but a nice one. Nice one. Good understanding of Dylan's. Like Andrew's made two, pretty tight folds there, but pretty impressive folds. He folded ace 2 to a single raise against queens, and he folded a gut shot and a flush draw, blind versus blind against 1-bet. Like he's made two pretty good folds there. Where a lot of people would have lost 40 million and 40 million, which is like a third of his stack. Pokers are not just about making good bets, it's about making these disciplined folds for these medium and small size pots, which add up over time. So I think that's, Andrew, I think, has shown his class here on the stream.
Lucas King Jack in the small. Is he going to go for some sort of limp maneuver here, Pads?
I think he'll shove. Yeah, I think he'll shove. Queen 7, I think, will fold. Just too weak. You really don't want to see a shove when you have Queen 7. Like please limp, please limp. Even raise non-all in, just don't shove. I'm on the bubble of this Tuesday 500 tournament as well.
All right.
Don't recognize anybody in the tournament, which is nice.
That is nice to see in the Tuesday 500, especially you did such a good job of picking that tournament up earlier, Pat. It seems only right that the tournament gives you a little love back.
Mm-hmm. It hit the guarantee by $500, so it's interesting.
You think you got someone in there?
Well, it's $530. So if one person played because of me, then I saved them at least $30.
There we go. I like it. Voila in the chat says only 400 players to the money in the free roll.
Oh, really? Is it 400? I'm gonna have to put some pressure on this.
No,
bubble,
less.
I think.
Less. Yeah. 350 players to go. We had it before, Pads, with Ike Haxton. We figured we got his smallest ever cash in a tournament. We got him like 16 cents or something, and we're pretty sure that's the smallest he's ever cash for. Can we do the same for you, or if you got some stories from when you first started out where you cashed for like 5 cents or something?
Just have a look in the lobby who the chip leader of the tournament is. That's all I'm asking you to do right now.
Wow, he's taking a picture, guys. 1.24 million. He's taking a picture.
Let's get this one for the scrapbook.
Oh, yeah. Look at this.
We'll have to see it, boys.
It's amazing. He's relentless, guys. It's just the same because last week it was called the Patrick Leonard free roll. That'd be a bit more impressive, I think, if you were chip leading the one after your own name. But we'll let this one. We'll let it go. It's impressive.
I wasn't mentally ready. I wasn't mentally ready for it. And now I'm going to punish the bubble. Oh wow! Someone call me all in. No longer
punish the bubble. They've called me. Lucas flops a flush blind on blind. Dylan with bottom pair. He's going to stab at it with that deuce 5 flush. And Dylan does have a little piece.
Yeah. I think Lucas will just go bet now. Just keep betting to turn in the river.
Oh.
Yeah, you just allowing a 4 to check, or even allowing a hand like Queen of Spades 8 to check, which is going to probably call again. You need some protection value against this. You know, some of those kind of hands. Even a king might check sometimes as well.
Yeah, I'm with you. It seems odd to check this one, but
the 6 is very bad for his range, you know, like because he's going to check a lot of 6x on the flop, and Dylan has a lot of 6x, so like range-wise, it makes some sense from that point of view.
But with this specific combo, like 5 deuce of spades, it just seems.
And it's going to be some hands you want to. There's going to be some hands you want to bluff, like 7-8 with a spade, stuff like that. I don't think 9-4 can fold now. If 9-4 finds a fold now, I'd be extremely impressed. Like, Lucas could be value betting the same hand, like 6s and 4s with a king, you know?
Right.
5 a little. Oh, wow. That's honestly an amazing fold. Like, that is a really incredible fold, I think. I know it sounds silly, but it's like, that is a really good fold, I think. Very, very good fold. For such a small bet. It was like quarter pot, right? He bet 10 million into 45. Like, yeah. He shoves all his king x pre-flop because it's like 15 big blinds effective pre-flop, so he doesn't have any king x hands. So like, he usually doesn't value bet a flush or trips for like such a small sizing. So like, it's very, very impressive fold, I think. Especially when he has 600 million, he can afford to lose, you know, 10 million. And now he's raising a good hand to raise blind versus blind. I think he's playing really good. Dylan is a superstar. Playing very good. A7's going to be in the mixer.
Yeah, it certainly is. The full rip. Have some of that.
So 21 cents.
Free lumps
so what
of
can
garbage.
you play on? What can you play on Party Poker for 21 cents? Do you know, James? Like if someone cashes here, what can they do with their 21s? What is for 21 cents?
You can play. There's the cent rolls, right? So I mean, you got 21 bullets in those. Yeah, like go for a little cash game spin.
Nice. Little zoom. Okay, what's the minimum buy-in for 1 cent, 2 cent? Do you know? Is it probably 50 cents, 60 cents?
It's fine. It's funny. I'm looking. Obviously, there's a bunch of 22-cent events, but there's $11 cent tournaments as well. The cent rolls is 22 cents. I mean, it's just getting the mix there. But yeah, cash game wise,
casino, I guess.
Look here. Micro.
Sit and goes, maybe. Sit and goes might be a good way to do it.
Yeah, It's the min here. Nah, yeah, the min's a little too low for cash, I think. But yeah, I mean, some of those tournaments, some of those satellites, sit and go. You're right. Sitway is a good way to spin it up.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Sorry, I've suddenly missed this, but they're all in. I was looking at what you can get into, and Andre has doubled
Lucas
up.
Found the double.
Lucas, and apologies, guys. I was looking at the lobby.
We're trying to help you. We're trying to help you guys.
but I can only assume that Andre jammed from the small 9-10 suited, and Lucas looked up at the ace-5, and he turned the open ender. It got exciting for a second, but from our point of view, not so much from Lucas's point of view, but holds on the river and now moves into second. Andre, the shortest stack.
Yeah, and Dylan has a really nice. Dylan has a really nice spot too. He can apply lots of pressure now.
And we haven't really had that spot, have we, Pads? Bar for about a minute or two, they've been very different, Lucas and Andre, but now they're similar. Let's see what Dylan's got. He's impressed us so far, Pads. He's moved the gears. Yeah. He's taken advantage of multiple situations. So let's see if, straight away in here with the 6-7 coming in. Yeah. Obviously going to take advantage of this as well. So just further confirmation that Dylan clearly knows what he's doing.
100%, yeah.
Lucas, flopping the open ender.
This is a board where people miss a lot of bets usually. Like, it's a board where people check too much, but you want to bet to make like King 2 fold, Queen 4 suited fold, Ace 3 offsuit fold. There's a lot of combinations. 6-7 suited fold. So I hope Dylan doesn't miss anything. Dylan playing good. Playing very good.
Yeah, I'm just going to walk into it a little bit here. And Lucas up against his bogeyman. Dylan's had his number all day. It's just in again.
An 8.
In with a nice... Yeah, an 8's a massive card here.
Yeah, an 8 is massive. But Dylan may take this one... Oh, okay.
There we go.
Lucas has made a few of these kind of raises. I'm not sure if he's raised enough or like...
Pads, I think he's had enough of the check calling against Dylan and getting kind of blasted off down the streets. He's saying, you know what? You do this too often to me. I'm just gonna punish you here.
Maybe so. That makes sense.
And straight away, like if Lucas wants to limp here, he's going to get punished because Dylan's just got ace king. But he's psychologically, it's got to get in his mind a little bit.
Yeah, 3.5x, I imagine, from how he's played so far.
Yeah, exactly on, Pads. Got your man pegged.
I guess Lucas just folding. Does he go for 85 million? 92 million? Thinks Dylan's going too wide and not wide enough for value? Okay. I always want to see carnage.
You do.
Yeah. Terra Luna. 10s? Okay. Okay. Dylan was tanking there.
Dylan again. Get the pop up on the button. Should get this one through.
The problem is for the short stacks is that they're not very short. It's not like you have 10 big blinds and 8 big blinds and you can just start shoving. You have like 36 big blinds and 22 big blinds. It's like quite deep, you know. It's, if anything, it's a testament to the structure of the tournament that it's so deep at this point, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah,
nice.
It's nice.
It's sort of towards the end of day 2 yesterday. It went to 24-minute levels. Just give them a little bit more players to get towards the business end. It deepens things up. We saw the final table. Yeah. Obviously, yesterday they played a long time to get into the final 9. So obviously, the start was always going to be pretty fast and furious, and that's what happened. And now, obviously, playing a lot deeper. It's lovely to see, like you say. Look at this.
Yeah.
Limping the button now. Novak, little adjustment.
Punish, maybe? 52 million? No, okay.
You really are sick.
No, I mean, Lucas's money is like dead at this point, or like not dead, but not very live. And Andrew's folding ace 2 suited versus Ray. So if he's folding ace 2, he's probably folding quite a lot, right? Decent blockers. Fold out king 9, king 10, king jack.
I
like this bet from Andrew, yeah. I like this bet. Third pot. Dylan thinking about... Okay. Did you see Joshua and Fury? Did you see his being announced today? Did you see that? Or yesterday,
I saw that, yeah, contracts have been signed, but dates aren't out yet or anything, are they? So...
Sky Sports are the ones who announced it, so nice. That's quite nice.
Yeah, one of those I'm not really a boxing man, Pads, but I've kind of started to enjoy boxing just with Joshua around, just because he's like the first boxer I've seen to come across that isn't like a complete. Well,
yeah,
he's someone I want to root for, and it's pretty rare in that sport. It feels like so. Yeah.
Well, Tyson Fury has a lot of fans too. He's quite popular as well. You know, he's a very generous guy, gives a lot back, and he's a family man, whatever. So.
Yeah, there's I don't know, there's some stuff he said that I can't really get past, but right, obviously his story is fantastic. As a sporting story, where he's come, where he was, where he fell to, and how he's come back is fantastic, of course. But
yeah.
But
I think he's the more popular out of the two. I think he has more fans. I think.
Yeah. So Sarah says Joshua Fury announced, but no dates or venue agreed. So what the heck is announced? That's a good point. Yeah, they're just hyping it up, man. They're hyping it up. They've announced. They've decided the money between them. That's what they've decided. Money has been agreed.
And 2 fights. They've announced.
Right,
they agreed to do 2 fights, so they get.
Is that nice. Either has the option to get the rematch? Like.
Yeah, I think they have. It's a compulsory rematch.
Oh, okay.
So they have to fight, so that they guaranteed double payday.
Look at this. Look at this. Dylan clicking buttons on Andre. Have some of that.
I mean, Andre raised the flop, which is quite dicey anyway, and then called Dylan free bets, and then Andre calls. The thing is, it's a bit like chicken now. Both players know that the other one would have shoved ace-x pre-flop because it's like 20 big blinds. So they're both like, well, I know you don't have an ace, and I know you don't have an ace, so I'm going to keep raising. So Andrew's kind of like raising for value on the flop with his free. And then Dylan's like, what the hell are you raising for value with? Maybe Andrew goes for 10% bet on the turn for a little bit of protection to make sure Dylan doesn't go wild on the river. Yeah, he goes for that small bet. I thought he would do this, yeah. It makes sense, I think. Because if you check, Dylan might just shove the river, then what are you going to do? Do you know what I mean? So you kind of stun the action a little bit.
Yeah, guys, in the free roll, if you're still in, we're getting close. It's gone orange. 729 pay. We're down to the final. What are we down to? 810. All right.
10, yeah.
Pads is still in there. You can win those $22 ticket by knocking him out. You can also win a $500 ticket if you win the free roll. Pads is just smashing. Look at this. Back above 1 million chips, 4th in chips in the free roll. It's just taking no prisoners.
Well, I'm on the bubble of the Tuesday 500, which is what big trouble here. Some time back.
And yeah, Andre getting back to 300 mil. Lucas with the same. It's the old half the chips versus a quarter of the chips versus a quarter of the chips. The dream spot for Dylan. We've been three-handed for a long time, considering how fast we went down to the final 3, but it makes a lot of sense. They are a lot deeper. Let's see, 30 bigs effective we're playing. It's nice to see, Pads. It's nice to see because we're seeing some good stuff. We're seeing some battles now. I mean, people were playing pretty, like you called it, people were playing pretty fairly straightforward for a while there, and then now we're seeing the 3-bet bluffs post-frop, the kind of like raise to protect stroke value, end up calling a 3rd bet. Like, it's fun.
Yeah. It's weird how it works like that, yeah. The gears change so quickly.
Yeah,
somebody's asking what I'm drinking. It's a strawberry smoothie.
Wow.
Strawberry smoothie.
It's the way, guys. That's how he does it. The strawberry smoothies are a secret. Sure, it's not like a strawberry cocktail. I mean,
no. Daiquiri. Strawberry daiquiri. Strawberry Bellini.
Go. Dylan with the gut shot. Deuce for the wheel. Ace overcard. Checks it back. Pings the deuce. Lucas with the second pair once again is going to be put through the ringer. Time and time again. These two having it out. And Dylan just always seems to have the best of it.
I think Lucas will value bet the turn. Just feels like he has the best hand. Gets value from ace-x, which he doesn't want to check back. And then Dylan might raise.
Yeah, sure enough. That's 35 into 50.
Yeah, Dylan, does he just call to slow play? Because like raising non all in looks crazy strong now. Like, what could you ever be bluffing with? Yeah. Oh my goodness, that is an insane river card.
Wow,
it looks so clean,
brutal.
It's so clean, so blank. But if he bets the thing which might save him is if he bets non all in and Dylan shoves, Dylan is representing better than 7-5 at that point. He's not representing jacks or like a7. You know, he's representing straights, sets. So if Lucas bets like 122 million and then Dylan goes all in, it's going to look so strong. Was he ever bluffing like that? He could maybe get away. Oh, versus this size, and it's going to be tough to get away. Because he could value raise. Well, could he value raise?
Right.
No, but he could bluff. He's more likely to bluff against this sizing, right? So I don't think Lucas is going to be able to get away here. Dylan has shown he's capable enough to bluff. He could have like Jack 4 of hearts or something like this.
Could he ever have a queen here and raise river? Like check back the queen on the flop sometimes and then call turn and then against the 1/3 sizing on the river go for value?
It would be like queen 2 or queen 7. Yeah, he goes all in. I don't think Lucas can get away. It's brutal spot for him. Yeah.
He does call, Pads. He does call.
Yeah.
Lucas Weimer tormented by Dylan. And that run out, the deuce 7 offsuit combo is always going to be enough to send him out in third for 84k. And just like that, we have our heads up set.
Yep.
Dylan with just under 900 million. A 3-1 lead against Andre Novak. But Pads, you say Andre's a bit of a heads-up player, so
I
a lot
think
of work
so,
still
yeah.
to do.
Yeah, I think so. And Andre's going to think that Dylan's coming after him straight away. The first limp, he raises to 3.5x, but really he just had a good hand. So, yeah, I imagine Dylan's going to keep pressing and Andre's going to try to play low variance. That's how I would imagine it plays out, but let's see.
Well, as he busts out, as they guarantee themselves 6 figures, those of you in the free roll have made the money. You're in.
Let's go. I also cashed 21 cents.
Loopy saying snap calls again. If you are just joining it, like we have a little bug sometimes with the replay where if they tank for a very long time, it shows up as a snap call.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is. Oh, wow. Here we go. A bit of his own medicine. The cold deck. The king rolls off. Gives him top pair. Andre's flop straight. Going to get plenty of action.
So usually on the overcard turn, you will either check or overbet as the out position player. So he's going to go for the check raise instead of the overbet himself. Small bet from, well, not a small bet, but not a huge bet from Dylan. I think Andrew may just call because if Dylan has a king, he's going to value bet most rivers. Anyway, yeah.
Right.
This is actually quite interesting. It's similar to the last hand where Dylan's going to value bet and Andrew's going to shove, but it's going to look so strong. But Dylan's going to feel like he has a really strong hand too. And Dylan's going to know that he has no 8x either because he's going to check that on the turn usually. So a lot of psychological stuff going on now. Andrew's definitely going to shove. And then it comes down to, can Dylan get away? He also blocks 9-7, which is something. Like, it's some consideration for sure.
First hand off the heads up. Straight into it.
Yeah, he's all in. Can Dylan get away? I think he could get away.
Right,
Like, he's going to have
it's
some
hard
strong
though, right?
hands
I mean,
too. He's going to have some strong hands too. He's going to have stuff like ace queen as well, which he checks back the flop with. Maybe he can call when he has. Maybe he can call when he has king 9 or call when he has king queen. Great fold from Dylan. I mean, Dylan has played like a superstar all final table, in my opinion. It's been very strong.
yeah,
He's made every decision being correct.
I see Bong Voyage in the chat saying Lucas's call was a snap. He induced wasn't a replay bug. So I don't know if Bong was watching the final table in real time. If so, that's very interesting. Obviously, just had enough then pads. It was like, right, I'm betting here and I'm calling if you rip. I've seen you barrel away too many times.
Yeah. Seems like that was the plan. I just cashed for 21 cents.
Oh, is it over? It's over. 629th.
Snuck into the money. Snuck into the money.
Classic Patrick Lennon maneuver there, guys. Just get in there.
Yeah.
But someone knocked you out, so maybe like that person just won a $22 ticket as well. It's nice.
Yeah, true. Congratulations to whoever that guy was. I think 4 people called my all in, so they were all going for it.
There we go.
Jack 7 checking back the flop is quite interesting. Typically, it's a hand you would see betting with a gut shot, with some equity, maybe bluffing off down the streets.
Yeah. Mine's going up as well, 612. But we're deep enough. Andre winning that first part of the heads up, Patrick, it's made a big difference because it was 3-1 down. He was fairly short for a heads up match. Now, definitely got a little bit more room to play.
For sure.
I know it's such a cliche thing to say, but obviously the first sizable pot's so important heads up. If you're, the shortest stack, you just really can't afford to lose it. It just makes it such a mountain to climb. But now, 2-1 down, it's just a lot more manageable.
Oh. So, this is a flop. Check back from Andrew, not wanting to get check raised. That makes some sense. Okay. Surely Dylan's going to bet the turn. Andrew has to call with his hand. He beats a lot of draws. Has equity against even a jack. Has like 30% equity against a 9 usually. Or an 8.
Well, those draws you mentioned, the other 10x, some Queen X and stuff, all miss here, Patrick, but just ace high for Andre.
Yeah. I guess Dylan will go for a large bet. Just thinking that if Andre ever has a 9 or an 8, or like an overpair that he checked back, he's just never going to fold. Yeah, I was expecting to see this large bet. And I think Andre has to fold now. He could shove, but that would be kind of aggressive, yeah.
Certainly would be aggressive.
Yeah.
Does fold. It's down to 30 bigs. I like it though, Pat. I like where your head's at all the time. We're always finding a way to make something happen. It must be quite scary being inside your head, like just deep in a big tournament. I'd be worried for you. The thoughts, the demons just working away.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, hello.
This could actually be this. Yeah, this could actually be a biggish pot.
Gut shot. Overs to the 8. 1 club against that club draw.
Yeah,
here we go.
This could be the one. And if a club comes off, it's also good for Andrew to be aggressive as well. This is going to be an interesting hand. Could Dylan free bet now? That's a very blank turn. Very blank turn.
Does
He-
fire
It's a big old
again.
bet. Yeah, and if a club comes on the river, he will shove as a bluff on the club for sure. So if a club does come, it's game over. Unless it's the 9 of clubs, maybe he checks. But any other club, okay, this should save him. This should save him. I don't see him bluffing on the queen.
Yeah, it's a tough one to bluff, isn't it? Especially when you've got the 10-9 with the 10 of clubs.
It's hard to rep quads. Yeah. Oh, he bets.
Oh.
So he's basically betting to make better draws fold. So like Jack 9, Jack 10, exactly, and then like Jack of clubs 5, King of clubs 4, that kind of stuff. So he's trying to make better clubs fold. Ace 4 is actually a pretty nice one to call with because he's never going to bluff with clubs. That's a big call. Yeah.
Fantastic call once again by Dylan. Sniffed it out, and Andre down to a little more than 10 blinds. Limps in here with the King 8, and Pat's King 8 suited. Heads up. This is it, right? Potentially, this is it.
Ace Jack probably just going to shove with the offsuit version, and King 8 just has to call. Too much equity, yeah. King 8 can't fold. You're going to be up against Queen Jack, King 5s, stuff like that.
Oh, flopped a lot of equity. Rivers,
still
a
alive.
whole lot more. Doubles up.
Yeah.
Back to 320. Back to where he was a couple of hands ago. And breathe. Pads, you breathe on that one.
Well, there could be more action here. I really hope he raises. It's not a good hand to limp, because if you limp and then he raises and you go in, you don't want to bluff with queens, essentially. It's a very good raise from Dylan too. Dylan played like a superstar, honestly. He's played fantastic.
A6 deuce, not the flop he was after with the queens, but may still get some action here. Andre with king high. Backdoor nut spades.
Quarter pots, maybe. Oh, he
checks back, finds the 8 on the turn. Gonna stick Andre in here for a while. Wow, we're seeing some hands, but yeah, unlucky for Dylan there. He had was one card away from taking down the WPT500. Has to continue, but it's continuing with good hands in good positions and a big chip lead. Still the favorite.
Yeah. Andre has a value bet on the turn. Oh.
Wow.
That's unfortunate.
Dylan.
That's very unfortunate for Dylan. I feel like he doesn't deserve this run out. Because if a king comes, maybe you get away. But when the 8-8 comes, it's a lot tougher.
That is brutal. What size does Andre go now? Okay, it's gone. Not too big at all.
Yeah. He has a lot of bluffs. I think queens is going to call. Like, you have no 4, no 5, no 3, no 7, no 9, no 10 in your hand. Like, if he somehow gets away from this one too, I'm going to be extremely, extremely impressed. Because he's made so many good decisions so far.
He's thinking long and hard about it, Pads, but I can't see him getting away from this, like you say.
Wow, this guy's good. This guy's very good.
That one has really got me, Pads. That one has really got me. I don't think there's any way he's getting away from that.
I think he seems like he's a big dynamic player because, like, Andre just ran like a big hand against him, check raising before and like a big bluff, and then he just doubled it through Dylan getting lucky. He probably thinks that a regular's not going to try like 3 hands in a row to try to do something against you when like momentum's really changed the other way, which is a really sophisticated way to think about poker, and it's hard to get onto that level. So for Dylan to get to that level and be so smart about it all is very, very, very impressive. Very impressive.
Especially so. Very, very, very good. Fours v5s, heads up. I'm at the free roll as well, Patrick. I got 22 cents in my trouble.
I think this may go all in.
Wasn't to be today, guys. Min raise from Dylan. Fours v5s, the classic showdown.
I think 5's all in, and I'm not sure what 4's does. I assume it just folds. I think 4's is quite nice to limp, and then let him raise, and then you be the one to shove over the top. That's just logically how it seems to be. I don't think he calls off here. I don't think he calls off, no.
Unique in the chat saying Andre going to win this event. Well, he's taken some strides. It was looking very bleak a moment ago. The river bailed him out, and he's getting back into it. But Dylan's still with the big chip lead.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Checks through on the flop. Jack on the turn for Dylan. Old man Dinkelberg saying Dylan has made all the correct calls and folds. He certainly has. Certainly has. And I'm right. Not put a foot wrong this evening. Right from the start, pal. One of the first hands, the final 9 hand, they just kind of 3-bet ripped with 26, 27 blinds, queens. Made the fold with ace 10 when Andre opened, just kind of keep out the way. Got the chip lead. Started playing a lot more aggressively. Gets called here on the turn. Gonna get some more value for that jack.
Yeah.
Now,
I imagine we're going to see a big bet, I think, because like so many draws missed. 7-8 missed, 9-8 missed, 9-7 missed, all the 4x missed. Yeah, big bet makes sense. And ace-3 could call, because the ace is very good. You don't block any bluffs. The 3 blocks some value. You don't have a 7, an 8, a 9, a 4 in your hand. Ace-3 is not a ridiculous call here. Not a ridiculous call at all.
Right. No club as well, of course.
Yeah. I feel like he may flick it in.
Right. I don't think we've seen him think this long too many times, Novak. So he's certainly considering.
Yeah.
There we go. Pad, you're right. He does.
I thought he would call.
Exactly as you broke it down. Like, it just wasn't the worst hand to bluff catch with.
But what I feel like is Dylan would have found the fold. Like, Dylan realizes it's a good hand, and he realizes something else, then he finds the fold. You know, that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, certainly. He certainly has been all final table from Dylan. Not got one wrong. Andre then back below 20 bigs.
Yeah.
Guys, I really hope you're enjoying watching this. It's been great stuff so far.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Oh, limp calls with Jack 4 suited, flops the flush.
Interesting. Oh, wow. This is a big bet. This is a really big bet. Like, he does nothing. He's putting in 50 million with 4 high. Like, sometimes you'd bet small here to make, like, 9-10 of hearts fold or something. But this is a really big bet. Like, he's trying to make a 7 fold. Oh, that's interesting. I guess turn will go check, and then 4-3 will bluff the river all in. Checking the turn for Dylan makes a lot of sense here. The SPR is so small, there's no reason to bet. You want him to bluff the river. But I think 4-3 might bluff shove the river against like King 10 no club, King Jack no club, Jack 10 no club, a 7, a queen, whatever it may be. Oh, that might save Andre. That might save Andre. Because now the Queen X hands, which would have folded, they now have to call.
All right, yeah, he does give it up. Checks it back on over to Dylan, who, of course, just gets to jam himself. And Andre is going to think, what do I have to do to beat this guy? Going to be 9-1 down after this hand.
Yeah.
It's going to feel sickening. Just 10 blinds left.
A billion chips for Dylan. It's not very often you can say you have a billion chips, but I think Dylan deserves the billion chip stack here. This is how many? Oh, 10 free folds, which is surprising heads up.
Yeah, and we're giving a lot of praise to Dylan, rightly so. But we're not saying Andres, though, has really put a foot wrong either. It's just Dylan's kind of had all the kind of the sexy moves, as it were. He's had the spots that he's had the opportunity to shine, I guess is what I'm saying, Patrick. He's given opportunities, isn't he, to to make these great plays, and he's just taken them all.
100%. 100%.
No, it really is just a little shove and fold fest for a little bit, perhaps. So Andre can get some action. Maybe this is the one. Ace-4 versus Queen-8 suited.
This is the one. Ace-4's all in and Queen-8's going to have to probably call. It's very close though, but probably it's going to call. Maybe it folds. Maybe it's just on the edge. Yeah. Like
Does
2
let
big
it go.
blinds less would probably call. I guess 7-5 will limp. King-Queen will shove.
Yeah, people talking in the chat. Huge payout to E, both regardless. You're not wrong. 123k locked up. 191 for the winner for this $500 tournament. We're doing it all again next week. WPT500 knockout edition. It's going off. You guys should get in the mix for that. Plenty of satellites going off. Oh, we'll snap up the 500, but his feeders galore. Here we go. Yeah.
Andrew could double up here with his Ace-Jack. Queen-Jack's going to just shove.
Here we go. There's a shot.
Oh my,
word.
Oh, well,
Queen
that seems
on
fair.
the flop. 10 on the river. Chop it up,
That seems
boys. Yikes.
That is a yikes. Andrew still with his 120 million.
He's still alive. I mean, it felt aggrieved to bust out there, but by the end of it, you're just so happy to get a chop.
Ace King all in. Could raise min raise, but it looks a bit strong. He goes for a limp. Interesting.
Limp lets Andre in, and he's going to flop second pair on this Queen Jack for a couple of diamonds. Dealing with King of Diamonds.
Yeah.
He's got shot 2 overs.
Guess Andrew just calls. There's no reason to raise Jack 2, right? Like, you get it in just against better hands mostly. Oh wow, this could be game over.
Wow.
This could be game over. Dylan has a lot of attractive bluffs, like 9-6, 8-7, like any gut shot, you know, put pressure on. Flush draws, obviously. King X. I think it's going to be tough to get away with from this as Andrew, because he knows he's likely to raise his Queen X on the flop quite a lot. So like a Jack starts to become wow, great fold, very good fold.
That's getting away from fairly quickly as well.
Yeah, or it was a max time bank and then he timed out.
Yeah, well, he's going to rip this one. Dealing with King 4. Yeah, gonna look him up.
Has to call.
That's good. And turns a gut shot draw. Doesn't do it though, Patrick. He misses. And Dylan Rowe is our champion.
Yeah. Amazing. I mean, I think that's probably one of the best performances I've seen on any of the streams we've had. I think he played fantastic. He made every decision correct. You know, free bets, calls, folds, aggression. He was fantastic, I think. Congrats to him. Congrats to all the other guys too. Great tournament.
Yeah. Very impressed. And like, Pads, we get sent through a sheet. I see here online earnings. I don't know how accurate this is, but around 600k. Live earnings 11k. But biggest online result was 30k before this. Here he is, 181k, and above that, as you were saying, just such an impressive performance on this final table. It wasn't a lucky win, Pads. It was a very impressive one.
No, for sure.
Congratulations, of course.
Yeah, Andrew was fantastic.
Andre came in, chip leader to start the day, managed to get second place. That's always a positive result because a lot can happen on final tables. And of course, Lucas in their third. Davidas had the nice little spin up. And then the rest of them, it was obviously Stoyan was very unlucky, but the short stacks, they never really got it going, did they, Pads? It was never really got higher up the leaderboard.
It was a tough spot for them. Obviously, for Stoyan, it was very very difficult hand for him against Davidas and against Dylan at the time. We have to remember that although Dylan played fantastic, he did get very lucky to still be in with his ace-king against kings and queens. So this kind of shows that poker is definitely a skill game, but there's also that element of luck as well, which what makes it so fantastic, you know? So the fact that he did get lucky and he managed to spin it up with his ace-king, fantastic. But then he also capitalized off his stack size and he played perfectly afterwards. So I think this was a great demonstration of what tournament poker is all about, you know, a bit of luck and then a lot of skill, essentially.
Yeah, it certainly was. Guys, like, thanks to everyone for tuning in to watch our stream. Really do appreciate it. Best of luck for those of you still in the free roll, and of course, our ticket winners. Unfortunately, that is it for the evening. WPT500 is in the books. Massive thanks to Pads for coming in here, doing the full shift again, my man. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back next week, guys, for the WPT500 Knockout Edition, which, Pads, you're obviously going to fire again at that one, right? There's plenty more day ones.
Yeah, I'll probably play on Sunday, but there's a lot of day ones left, yeah. So looking forward to trying to make it through.
Yeah, so guys, if you're not in that already, give it a go. Play some of the feeders, get in the mix. You could be on this final table next week. But until then, that is when I'll see you again. All right, guys. Good night and good luck.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Goodbye. Bye.